All right, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. That feels a little bit loud. Okay, there we go. Impromptu show tonight, folks. It's group chat tonight. It's open mic. It's here for anyone that's hanging out this evening, whether you are a creator, whether you are a fan, whether you are just a friend. It's open mic. It's we want to get you here. We want to get you with us, chilling out for a little while tonight. You're welcome to drop in anytime you like. Hey, Facebook user, I don't know who you are. Head over to streamyard.com/Facebook. Allow the programs to talk to each other, and I can see who you are. But for right now, I have no idea who you are. I am. It's it's Larry. I am where I am always at. Oh, you mean where am I? I'm behind the curtain. Where I'm always behind the curtain, dude. Um, you got to have something to start this thing off. There we go. I'm right here, where I'm always at. I'm always where I'm at here. Oh my god, I have to clean up the back end of this thing. Holy smokes! There is so many images in here that we've been using for the past handful of. Hey, let's remember to do this as well. Ding! There's all our little social media contacts and so on. Got to clean this thing up here. But that's not why we're here. You're not going to watch me like work the machine here. This is just no, still says Facebook user. Facebook user. You're just a user, Larry. You're just a user. That's all you are. That's the way it works. But yeah, anybody that's watching, we are in a couple of different places tonight. If you want to jump on, hang out for a little bit, you are more than welcome. Talk about your comics. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Go to that website, Larry, and then something will pop up that will let Facebook and StreamYard talk to each other, and then it opens up the whatever, opens up this so that we can see names. Yeah, again, so if you're a creator, you got something to talk about, jump on. If you're just a creator and you just want to hang out, talk art and so on, there it is. Now, see, now it's working. Now it's working. You want to talk comics? You want to talk about what you're doing with your art? You got something coming up? It's all good. We can. Sorry, you want to jump on? Hold on a second. I'll give you. Let me get the invite here, or the link, etc., etc., and I will pop it your way. This is just a free for all, folks. I don't know how long we're going to go. We're just going to chill out a little bit. I wanted to. My brain is fried for the most part. Tons of shipping today, getting stuff out. You should have that link now, Larry. Tons of stuff shipping wise that I got out today. Oz and Camp Rad Dog are basically 99.9% done. There's a few people that don't have their surveys filled out. I can't send you books unless I have your address, and I've been asking for those addresses. So hopefully we'll be able to get those things wrapped up ASAP. But basically, Camp Rad Dog Camp Crossover is done on my side of things. Oz #2 is done on my side of things, and Oz 3 is about to finish up and get to print next month, which means we'll be getting that done maybe towards the end of next month. And then we're rolling into Ursa Minor. Yeah, there you go. Good. Finally, yes, we got. You should have multiple shipping notifications, Shawnee, because you had the camp stuff and you had some Comic Book Shopping Network stuff as well. So that was my day today for the most part, among other things, but that was the bulk of it. So we actually have Larry here. Larry, what's going on, man?
Yeah, no, man, I'm not here for a long time. Just a good time, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Groovy.
Just
So
want
this,
to,
this is
first of
Larry. You
all,
guys, I don't know how many of my followers know Larry. He does a comic called Niobe. You can see the name right down there, Niobe. I don't know. You have a campaign coming soon-ish.
ish.
Do you have a date yet, or you haven't decided?
Man, we gotta get some pages done. So far, all we got is our covers. You know
Oh,
what
so
I
you're
mean?
just at the starting point of the next issue. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
thought
once
you
we
were.
get
I thought you
5
were
or
closer for
6,
some reason.
once we get 5 or 6 really good pages going on, that we have something worth the show, right?
Sure.
Then we can
Of
start
course.
talking about Kickstarter date and stuff.
Yeah. For some reason I thought you were further ahead, but maybe that was just. Oh, you know why? Because I know you've been fulfilling your last book as well.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm in the middle of fulfilling Niobe Origins. Like I got 180 packages I still got to do, and I felt
Dude,
like
I hear you.
I've been doing this for like almost 2 weeks now, brother. You know what I mean?
Dude, I hear you. I've been through this with the camp and the Oz thing. I had stretch goal problems. Like you had that sticker stretch goal problem, right? I had a couple of stretch goal issues. I forgot to order a book. How about that? I forgot to order one of our foil covers. All of our foils came in, and I'm like, "Yo, there's a book missing." And sure enough, it's because I didn't order the damn book. So I understand. I understand the pain of all.
Yeah,
of this.
no, it is all too real. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Thankfully, though, I'll say this in regards to the the sticker debacle. It got fixed by Comics Wellspring really quick.
Awesome.
They sent me brand new stickers. I had them within days. They were done right this time, and they also gave me like $50 of store credit on their site. You know what I mean?
So, nice. Well, that's good. That's good. That's. I mean,
so,
they made a mistake, but the point is they fixed it and got it done, and now they probably have in their heads a little quality control for whoever's next.
Yeah. You know, I hate to be the guinea pig, but maybe I was, the guinea pig, right?
Right. Yeah. Somehow we got Sam in here. Sam, I didn't even give you the link. How the hell did you get in here?
That's my bad, Tom.
Oh, you gave him the link. Okay, no, that's fine.
I mean,
that works.
Tom,
I was just like, wait a minute, am I on like some old show and like using old links?
Welcome to Rebel Gaming. That's your host, LP.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, man? It looks like you are in the process of fulfillment too. I thought you just had there's some boxes, fulfillment happening. Around the world.
Me and Sam are actually going to do a stream together. And I'm like, you want to stream? He's like, yeah. Well, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to fulfill books. He's like, well, yeah, me too. He's like, do you care if there's like packing noise going on? I'm like, no, dude. What do you think I'm going to be
screeching and all kinds of shit going on?
Yeah, but then we saw that you were on. I'm like, let's go over and hang out with Tom for a little bit, and then we can just dodge out after. You know?
Yeah. This was totally impromptu. I got to a point where my brain was so fried. I watched a Gamera movie tonight, and I'm just like, yo, I got to do something to get my brain squared away.
Well,
so I can work tomorrow.
Dave Bautista is your favorite actor.
Oh, love that guy. Oh, I love that guy. Yeah, I love that guy, and I love the new Texas Chainsaw movie. In case you didn't catch that post.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Good. Yeah. It's all good stuff, guys. It's all really good stuff. Hey, Rob, what's going on? Larry's up in the Duckland, in the Canada land.
I'm in Canada, eh?
Yep.
In my igloo, by my gas power generated computer.
I believe
as
that.
I duct tape books together for mail.
I believe that. Yeah. And then Sam, we had on our sketching show a few weeks ago for Rain and his book. So
and that's the book I'm actually fulfilling right now.
Handful of you guys got to watch that show.
See a copy. Show us a copy, brother.
Let's grab let's see here.
Show the goods. Boom! Look at that. There you go.
This is the Nick Capone Virgin variant. These came out really nice, and we put ad in for the Kubrick School on the back, which is always nice when you can get some ads. But speaking of ads, who do we have back here?
Oh, boom!
Oh, we can't be showing that stuff. There
we go.
Can't be showing no.
You can't be showing that stuff. Hey, Shawnee and Rob, if you guys are interested in jumping on, I can get you the link if you want to come hang out with us. That goes for anybody as well, folks. This is just open mic night. I don't care if you're a creator, a writer, an artist, a colorist, an inker, a flatter. If you're a printer, I don't care. This is just open mic night. It is time to just chill out, shoot the shit a little bit, maybe meet some people you haven't met before, and have a good time.
Dredd. You can only see the bottom part.
That's
it would be nice to have a printer on. That would be kind of a neat conversation.
Ooh, there you go. There's some Novi. We're all just showing books. Like here, we're all just shilling books. Here's some books.
This is what we do, though. This is what we make, right? We should be proud and show these off. I mean, this is what we do, man. Full color, beautiful illustrated book. Dawn the Wand, Dan the Man. This is what we're fulfilling. Sam's fulfilling. Reign of Ages. I'm feeling Niobe Origins. This man here, he's over here. He just got done a toy campaign for $35,000. Let that sink in.
Congratulations, Tom.
You know what I mean?
39 is what we
$39,000.
That's what we ended up at.
Woo, almost 40 grand, brother.
Yeah. Well, and if we didn't have $5,000 in dropouts, imagine where we would have been.
Was it that bad? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that wasn't at the end. That was like just throughout the whole course of the campaign, but it was a lot. It was a lot for sure. But thankfully, on the back end, I had 24 people right off the bat that had their credit cards crap out, and that was another $2,000 gone. Yeah. But most of them, we're down to like 10 now, and even in that 10, I know most of them, so we'll get it sorted out. So it was kind of a panic mode, though. I was like, "Yo, I can't like drop another $2,000 out here."
Well, I got a question, right? And I think this might be a question that other people who are running Kickstarters might wonder. So let me ask you a question, sir.
Sure.
If let's say I do a campaign for 10 grand, right?
Yep.
And I hit 10 grand and it's about 3 weeks in, right? And then I get the wonderful email from Kickstarter that says, congratulations, you made funding, right? Mm-hmm. And then let's say at the very last minute, someone backs out and I'm down to 9,900. Because they already announced I was funded and I was going to get the money, do I still get the money even though someone backed out the last minute?
You do not get it.
Damn.
Now here's the push side, though. If you fund for your total and then the campaign ends, and then somebody craps out with a credit card and you don't make your 10 grand, in that situation, you still fund. But you've got to be at the dollar number that you need to fund at the end of the campaign or you don't fund.
Right. So, that makes sense. And then so someone does have a failed pledge after the fact. It's not your fault and they still provide.
Correct.
I'll tell you, the failed pledge thing is always an issue. You always have that pucker factor going on. I'll tell you, this campaign, just shy of 7K, and we had like $1,200 in pledges that were having problems at the end, and then we got it all the way down. Kickstarter thankfully resolved it, and we ended up with only like $105 in failed pledges. So
yeah, no, it's not too bad, but it does happen. It is a real thing. The back end of Kickstarter is something that most of the fans really don't see. Why would they? But it's brutal. It's a little brutal. So Sam, every time we see Sam, he always has boxes behind him. Those boxes never ever go away. I think they're just staged. I'm pretty sure they're just staged.
They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. Depends on what.
I can confirm that we've seen them go down.
You've seen them come up and go down. Now, here's the big question, Tom. When's your next campaign?
April. April. We've actually moved it because March is just hell. There's so many campaigns in March. We're actually moving it. I think it was going to be the 19th of March. We're moving it to April 2nd, just to give everybody a little, breather from Critter, breather from everything that's going to be happening in March. We'll just come in fresh with April, with Ursa Minor, and I'll feel good about that. I mean, realistically, that's when we were going to do it. That's our normal schedule, anyways. January, April, July, do it quarterly. Right. But because we have Goth Day in May as well, I wanted to try and give us a little bit of gap between them. But I realized quickly that if I started it in early April, we could still pull that off and get both campaigns done. We'll be fine.
At the earliest, that's probably when I'll be going.
I'm launching on March 1st, pending Kickstarter approval for the next book, 47 Furious Tales issue 3.
Well, are you in the somebody just posted on my my Dave Bautista link today.
He's an Oscar award-winning actor. Come on.
Best review I heard of Dave Bautista's acting was the critic who said he always looks like he's about to sneeze. It's not untrue. Not untrue. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, a couple people took as always, offense to my my bashing.
Well, you can't say anything online now without someone taking offense to something.
Sure. Right? But I don't really care. It doesn't really faze me. I went back at him and we went back and forth, and I'm like, yo, man, listen, this is just what I think. You can think whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me, but I'm going to tell you what I think, because that's what we do
this
here.
is the reason why I left Twitter, so I can get out of those conversations.
Oh yeah, Twitter's nonsense. Yeah.
And my life's been so much happier since,
I have a really good, the reality is, even on Facebook, people that complain about Facebook a lot. And The other night I was just laying in bed trying to like turn my brain off, just scrolling through, and I was like, yo, you know what? My Facebook feed is pretty dope, man. The people that I have post cool stuff. The groups that I'm in are generally speaking, not filled with nitwits. And a lot of that is just me sort of like you know, curating who's here. And if I'm tired of you talking about whatever politics stuff, then that's all you do, you're gone. I mean, that's it. It's that easy. And suddenly my feed is just opens up and I see other people's stuff. And that's also why I try and keep it down to about 2,000 rather than letting it run up to about 5,000. At one point I had like 3,500, quote unquote friends or whatever. And it was just a mess trying to do the feed. So I try and keep it down to about 2,000 now. And we're somewhere in like 1,900 ish range. And it keeps it clean. It lets all the groups do what they want to do. And I'm really happy with what I do here on Facebook, which is why basically I live here. I mean, everybody knows I live here on Facebook. I'm here more than Mark Zuckerberg's here.
Let me ask you another question, right? Because I'm like you. Like I think Facebook is my primary means of promotion. Okay?
Sure.
What would you do though if Facebook all of a sudden just dropped the axe and was like either gone or kicked us off or what? Like, how would you then rebound from not having Facebook as like a promotional means? Would there be a backup plan? Have you ever even thought of that at all? Or
well, I mean, there's nothing that exists that's like Facebook. I mean, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. We use those things, so we're there. I mean, that's not a big deal. And most of the people that follow us on Facebook are either also following us there or would just move over there to be like, well, we need to see what Tom's doing. Here's the thing. So let's go to Instagram and see what Tom's doing. But there's email lists. There is, when you're talking about Kickstarters and crowdfunding, you can update all of your previous crowdfunding stuff. Doesn't matter which, you can go back to project 1 and say, hey, we're on project 27 now. Here's the update, and get all of those people to know what's going on. So there's ways to move around it. It would not be, it wouldn't be great. I mean, we would have to modify what we do and how we do it, but it's certainly, circumnavigatable.
I think it would be crippling for me. Damn. You know what I mean? Like,
but
I'm going to answer
because
honestly,
all the people that are buying your book are on that Kickstarter, right? And all you
Sure.
have to do is tell them, hey, guys that backed me last time, here's the new campaign.
But the reason why they're on that Kickstarter is because they saw that from somewhere
Sure.
else.
Now, what I will say is it would be harder to grow because you wouldn't be able to do things like we're doing right now. So growth would be
Right.
difficult, but you would at least have access to everyone who backed you previously just through your campaigns that you can update and tell them Niobe number 27 is out.
Hey, Tom, do you want
Yeah.
to see it?
See what?
That's always the magic
Good,
question.
good clarifying question
You're
there.
getting smarter, brother. No, here, take a look.
We got a
world premiere. World premiere.
Oh yeah, you just talked about this. I saw that.
Boom. This is just a low res version. This is in
Sure.
the hands of the great Ula Moss right now.
Yep.
Who's going to color this up and make it even cooler.
Yep.
But this is Paul Green coming back to Niobe in style. And we had a little tug and pull on this cover. You know what I mean?
It
A
happens.
little back and forth, but we got what we wanted out of it, and I can't wait to see it colored. So that's a sneak peek for those here in the doghouse, man. You know what I mean?
That's cool. I in fact have Paul working on something for me right now too. So
Epic, man, epic.
it'll be. We haven't had Paul in a long time. He was very happy to get back with us, and he was like, "I'm so glad that things are back to normal with me, and I can do stuff." And I'm like, "Yo, dude, anytime. We're here for Paul Green stuff." So, as soon as we can tease that, we'll be teasing it off to our Patreon and all that kind of stuff. So. Paul is on the job right now, which I'm really excited about, because the one that he's only done one Big Dog Ink cover in our entire history, and it was great and it sold well, and I know people have asked for more, and so we got more.
Now is that cover widely available, or
it'll be a kick? Oh, the
one you've done
one?
before, is it like secret rare and no one can find it now, or
it's rare. There were only 100.
Oh wow!
And so it's very tough. It's Scheherazade side quests. It's a very tough cover. And then there was also a color variant, a color patch version, which was only available on the Comic Book Shopping Network. live show, and there were a total of, how did we do that? There were 10 regular editions. There were 10 regular editions. There were 3. Is it 3? Maybe it was 5. 5 black and whites, and then there were 2 holofoils. So the color version is massively, massively rare, and all of the Doghouse members, there you go. See, Shawnee's got one. All the Doghouse members got those because that was part of our special 100th episode on the Comic Book Shopping Network, and we did very, very, very special limited runs of some of those covers just for them. So there is a standard edition, and then there is the super rare versions.
Shout out to Shawnee Myers, brother. What's going on, man?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here, I'm gonna. Yeah, there you go. I would love to see what that cover actually looks like.
Yeah, I can bring it up.
Boom. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna show you another one.
Sure.
Boom. Am I a boomer? Boom. Awesome cover by Mr. R.B. White, great Canadian up here up north. You know.
Is he Canadian? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's in Ontario, Mississauga. He teaches at a university, animation at a university up in the Ontario region.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that she's keeping warm because it's cold in Canada, so she's keeping warm, and she's ready to go, man. This would probably look really nice as a foily. I think that's what's probably going to have to happen here. And then we have straight from Zenoscope, Mr. Eduardo Garcia, who has done a lot of like Zenoscope interior pages.
I don't know that name.
Yeah. He's done like work on Cinderella for Zenoscope, Grimm Fairy Tales, a bunch of like interior artwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's come along and he's done a cover for us. And then we have Justin Hunt.
That one I've seen.
Yeah. And then we got.
I like the colors on that one. Go back on that one. I like the colors on that one a lot. That's really.
Well, I'll tell you something about this. Justin usually, gets someone else to color his work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Sanju or Gwen or someone like that.
Sure.
But he said, Larry, I want to color this one myself.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know he did colors.
Yeah. He said, I want it to be personal. I want it to have a personal touch for me, and I'm going to color it myself. And I'll tell you, Tom, I was apprehensive. I'm like, brother,
sure.
I can get Dan to do it. Are you sure you want to do that? He's like, no. Just trust me, man. Trust me. I got this. And I'm like, okay, brother, I trust you. You got this. And boom, he got that. No problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. Great lighting effect. That's a really great one. That's a great one.
And then we'll show you one more for now. This here is a homage. Now, can you recognize where this is from?
No.
All right.
June 13.
No, this is a Iron Maiden image
Okay.
of Somewhere in Time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Instead of Eddie, it's Niobe. You
Sure.
know what I mean? But
Gotcha,
the background is all the same, including the little floating car, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So this is because I had to ask Juan. I'm like, this looks familiar, but I can't quite place it. He's like, dude, it's Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. I'm like, oh fuck, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, I mean, I have no context of it because I couldn't tell you what an Iron Maiden cover looks like ever. So I have no context. So sometimes you have to tell them, and even when you tell me, I still have no idea what it looks like. And in fact, the same thing happened to me, or a similar thing happened to me. Yeah, I've seen that one too. There's Keith. Good old Keith Garvey.
Yeah, we got a couple others, but I'm going to hold on to for now. But
yeah.
I mean, that's what we've gotten done for Outbreak. And now, like, I just got to finalize the script, hand that off to Juan, and then we're going to start doing some pages. Then we can start talking Kickstarter,
And so here is the Paul Green cover.
Oh, damn. Look at that. Yeah, you see, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
And of course, colored by Ula Moss. I can see her signature right there.
Yes, yes. And
That's
we
badass.
keep everything virgin on our covers. All the information goes on the back. So everything that you're seeing on the left side, that's the back cover.
Actually
tells you
like
how
that.
many
I
we
might
do,
have to-
who did it, all that kind of stuff.
Can I steal that from you, Tom?
How are you going to steal that?
Well, instead of it will say Niobe, and then we'll have the names on the back.
You do it however you want to do it. Man. How do you normally do your covers?
Well, normally
you put logos on everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we've done one where it was just strictly a virgin cover. I think it was like, the Paul Green Ariel cover. I think we didn't have a logo on that one. The one that you picked up, actually.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But usually, they just have the trade dress on. But,
Yeah.
I want to make the Keith Garvey cover without a trade dress, because I think it'll look
for
better
us,
that way.
it was initially, if you look back at early Big Dogging stuff, there is some logo stuff on the front of the books. But it reached a point for me, just me personally, as like a collector, I was like, what happens if we make these things virgin? Because that was when grading was really starting to come in, and I was seeing a lot of this stuff graded and kind of framed, and I was like, I bet you people would really like it if this stuff didn't have the trade dress. And so we switched everything over to being like this. You
Well,
got the virgin front and the
Brittany ears,
white
man.
back. And the response has been really great. Now it's a little tricky from a collecting standpoint, because people, like, when they're trying to sort their books, they have to actually take the book out and look at the back to figure out what it is if they don't have the information in their head. So that's the only sort of downside to it.
Well, there's another little trick though, right?
Yeah.
And it depends on how greedy you really want to get with this, right? But I mean, you can make two, right? You can make
one
sure,
with absolutely,
the logo, and then you can have one sort of without, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But for me, that only works for me if it's designed that way. And that's one of the things that we're actually doing with Ursa Minor. We are actually going to have two versions of it, but we're designing the covers to be able to support the logos properly. So it's not just kind of forced in there. Because sometimes when you force a logo in, like if you were to put the Critter logo on this, right, it would just be all forced. It would be either tiny and small, or
you would have
behind her and
her head, right? So
right,
she would cover part of it.
Exactly. And that doesn't make any sense to me. So what we're doing with Ursa Minor is we're designing the covers to be able to carry the logos properly. And there will be a little bit of overlap. I mean, that's natural. Well, that's happened in comics forever. But the actual art design is being done so that the logo at the top will have as much space as we can give it to not get carried over or covered. So, like, for example, that's crappy because it's a PNG, but you guys get the idea. So there's the Raveyard. So this will be at the top of the book for Ursa Minor, and then the primary 2/3 of the art will be able to rest underneath that logo for the most part. And that's kind of our thought process. And so far, so good. Everybody that's working on their books, they totally get it. They're like, yep, I'm in, I'm down. We're going to make this work. And so you'll have the regular edition with the logo, and then you'll have the Virgin edition that'll be super clean, and you'll get all that extra, 2 or 3 inches at the top, whatever it is. That'll kind of open up on the Virgin versions. And
the Virgin versions.
So actually, here's actually this is the Mike DeBalfo cover right there.
Damn. Now is that like the whole cover? Is it just like a pencil cover, or is this sort of like
no? That's just the pencils. This is just mock up. I was trying to figure out, like, I was trying to show Mike, like, this is what we're trying to do, and how we need to set the art down. So this is basically what the book will look like. Ula Moss has this cover right now, so she's working on the colors. But yeah, so this is basically the idea. So you'll get this type of a look on one version, and then you'll get the clean Virgin edition without the logos. So that's kind of our thought process on these. Because what I wanted to do is, with Ursa Minor, we've done a lot of homages over the years. So, like, movie posters and stuff, like The Lost Boys and Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's become part of the Ursa Minor thing that we've done. But I wanted to take it a little differently. I didn't want to just do a bunch of homages, but I did want to kind of tribute where these things came from, and that's where all the trade dress. I love the old, like, 70s trade dress of horror comics, and so I worked with Ed Lavallee to create like, I think 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 here. I think there's 6 old school logos that we can use on our art that'll pay tribute back to the old school stuff, but they're not going to be homages. They're not going to be like, I want this cover with this pose and this logo. So, like, that DeBalfo pose, that's all him. That's just him doing the pose, and then we're dropping the old school logo.
He's a bucket list artist for me. Someday I'm gonna have to get you to make a introduction, sir.
Dude, I only get him like once a year. How are you gonna get him?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying, right? So
I managed to get people I could never thought I could get, though. So
listen, it'll happen. It'll happen. Some will take more time than others, but it'll happen. There's definitely people that I never dreamed I would have, like Joe Chiodo, and I never would have imagined I'd work with Scott Campbell. So it'll happen. You just got to keep at it, and it's really just right place at the right time. You got to have that.
That's the thing with what we do, right? I'm, I don't want to speak for you, but I'll, maybe I will. I don't know. But the thing that we do best is we offer spots to like a wide range of people, right? Like from industry pros down to like, guys that we sort of just see on Facebook, like, guys like Mark May, who's busting his ass right now to get his stuff out, has done a cover for us. You know what I mean? Like we'll open it up to new guys, to the old pros, and everyone in between. It's a nice sort of range of talent that we managed to bring in.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's some of that is because we have to. Let's be honest. We can't just knock on Jim Lee's door and be like, "Give me a cover, dude." So we kind of have to go look for artists to do that.
Yeah, those restraining orders are strong, aren't they?
listen. If you were to pick one artist that you never worked with yet, right?
Art
to
Adams.
do a cover, it's your bucket list guy.
Art Adams.
Is it Art Adams?
Art Adams.
Yeah.
Art Adams. Did I say it fast enough? Art Adams.
No. You said it.
Did I say it again? Art Adams.
Jay Anacleto.
For me, it's Campbell, right? Because I never worked with him. Tom
course.
can't give that answer because he worked with him, right? But for me, it'd be Campbell. But I mean, Art Adams would be right up there. And any of the image founders, really, Jim Lee would be up there.
Yeah, for me, it's really 1 and 1A. It's Art Adams and it's Todd McFarlane. Those are two guys that were massively a part of my comic book experience when I was collecting and paying attention to art and so on. I do actually have 2 pieces of Art Adams art. I have a commission he did for me of Zatanna, and then I have an actual page from the Godzilla color special that he did for Dark Horse.
Oh, nice.
So I've got 2 pieces of bucket list art, but nothing from Todd. I don't think I could ever afford anything from Todd.
Sam, how about you, brother? You're to pick like someone for, because I know your properties are a little bit different, but I mean, like if you're to pick like one guy,
Jay Anacleto.
Who now?
Jay Anacleto.
And name sounds familiar. What's
Jay Anacleto. He does a lot of stuff. Well, he's all over the place right now, but he did Aria back in the day for Image.
Yeah. I still did. He did the most recent Aria cover too.
Jay Anacleto. Yeah,
I don't know that.
I've seen. You'd know it if you saw the stuff. It's an obscure name, but he's really good. He's really good.
Yeah, if you said, "Hey, here's whatever budget you need, name the artist," Jay Anacleto did on fun. Yeah.
There you go, man. See, there you go. Sam, what's next for you, brother?
47 Furious Tales issue 3 on March 1st. But in the short term, I'm kind of taking it easy, and I'm not rushing this fulfillment that much. I mean, I'm trying to get it done and out by Tuesday, but I'm not trying to kill myself doing it. I'm literally doing these more complex, higher end tiers right now, picking out everyone's polls and add-ons and everything, just taking it easy. If I do 6 an hour, I don't care. If I do 10 an hour, I don't care. If I do 30 an hour, I don't care. Just as long as they're right,
It's kind of, I always set up and put my iPad where I'm working, and then I play a movie. So I know when I've done 2 hours of shipping, I'm like, God damn, this is what I did in 2 hours.
I started with the retailer tiers because they had the largest volume. And basically I ran from highest volume down. So my first order I packed was a 60-pound package with 132 comics in it. So it's a good way to start the fulfillment.
Yeah, get the big stuff out of the way for sure.
Yep.
For sure. I always try and go in order, but it doesn't always work out that way.
I've been working backwards. I've been trying to fire off all these little packages, as many as I can at once. And then I was planning on sitting down and doing some big boxes tomorrow.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. That's fair.
Now I figured I'd do the hard stuff first, so that when I got down to like the $15 tier,
I got one dude, Sam. He spent 860 some odd American dollars on Niobe. I gotta find a way to put 36 comics in a box. I don't know if the boxes I got are big enough. You know what I mean?
You need 36.
36 comics plus the tchotchkes and whatever extra I'm going to throw in there. It's all got to go into a box. And I got these boxes, and I don't know if it's going to be big enough.
Use one of the boxes from the printer.
Then it's too much room, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can cut it down.
I'm trying to have it a nice, snug fit so nothing gets bounced around or racked or, But I'm going to be experimenting, with his package tomorrow.
Well, I'm sure you guys have a Canadian equivalent of UPS store or something, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can go shop around for a box. It's just I went and bought 25 of these boxes that I thought would be ideal size, and then I start looking through my Kickstarter the other day, and I'm like, who in the hell spent $800? And then I'm looking, okay, what did he get? And it was just like a whole slew of add-ons. I'm like, how am I going to make all this fit? You know?
Yeah, we've got a couple guys that buy everything every time, for sure. Like everything every time.
And then I messaged him. I'm like, you got 36 comics. Did you know that? He's like, yeah. I said, did you want me to sign all 36? Like, he's like, no, brother. You don't got to worry about that. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I would have done it, but he said, no. He wants to send most of them in for grading for blue labels. He said, just the yellow labels I'll have you sign. He said, I'm going to get those from you later.
Sure.
Like, all right.
Sure.
I'm going to be right back, gentlemen. I got to step away for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. So guys, anybody that's watching, we got a bunch of people watching. Anybody that wants to jump in and just shoot the shit, we're just chit-chatting. It's comics, it's movies, it's whatever you want to talk about. Be a fan, be a creator, whatever you want. Just shoot me a message. Let me know in the chat. I'll send you the link. It's no big deal. No big structure here tonight. We're just kind of showing stuff off. We'll keep showing off some of the logos we were doing for Ursa Minor. So we had the Raveyard there. MR Gunn is doing the art for that. Our Patreon folks have already seen the layouts. It's going to be 3 covers, but each cover will be part of each of the 3 campaigns. So it's not 3 covers in one campaign. Just like when we did Ryan Kincaid's Penny for Your Soul, 7 pieces that connected. This will just be 3, but it'll be in each of the 3 campaigns.
Cool.
And then Lair of the Lycanthrope. Again, all these were done by Ed Loveley too. So if anyone's watching and you need like logo assistance, Ed is fantastic. Give him a tap on the shoulder and he will give you some amazing work. Lair of the Lycanthrope, this one is being done by Ryan Kincaid. He is working on that right now. Then we have got Lost Girls. So this one's kind of got a lot of stuff going on. Again, it's a PNG, guys, so there's no background. Sorry about that. There's a lot of little pieces to this one that have to get kind of situated on the cover, but this will be Brian Peterson's cover, continuing his Lost Girl theme that he did with Ursa Minor last time. So it's kind of, again, it's like a tribute to the Lost Boys, but there won't be any real homages. It's just sort of this 80s vampire vibe thing that Brian is doing. And then, of course, there is the Vampire Love Stories that is part of the Mike DeBalfo cover. And then Nia Ruffino is doing this one that we call She's a Witch. So that should be fun as well. And all of this is underway. And this is, for those that haven't seen it, this is the artist for the book. This is Fabio Simao. He's not just doing this cover. This is your main primary cover right here. But he's also doing the interiors. So your interiors are going to look just like this, everybody. Yeah, that's really tight. So it's going to be a great looking book. And the book is almost already done from his standpoint, all the pencils. So once the pencils are done, we're getting a colorist to jump in. By the time we launch this campaign, April 2nd, this book's basically going to be done. This is going to be our fastest turnaround ever. We're going to be way, way ahead of the game all year this year. So hope you guys are prepared for a lot of books, fast and furious. Yeah.
How many you got? 5 this year? 6?
So we had the Critter one. We're doing the 3 Ursa Minors. We're doing Goth Day, so that's 5. 5, possibly a 6th. That would be just sort of a smaller campaign. Mm-hmm. Goth Day is going to be a week long in May, like we did last year. But then we've got some odds and ends that we've done some stuff in the past, like we had Bikini Day and stuff like that we've thrown on for like a 24-hour campaign. So there might be some elements like that, but there'll be at least those 5 for sure. And then there'll be a bunch of stuff just being released in the web store. So we're doing another camp book that came about because I got invited to a con, Suncoast Comic Con down in Florida. Mm-hmm. And Marissa Pope is going down there, and I was like, hey, we should just like do a cover so I have something for the con. And she was like, yep, let's go. And so we're going to do a camp cover, but I didn't want to just slap it on the old book. So we're actually going to be doing a new book for that as well. It's just going to be an 8-page. mini story, but it is going to be a completely new story that won't just be a reprint of what we've done before.
Cool.
So we're working on that. We're working on Ursa Minor. We're working on Goth Day. And then there's going to be Princess Day in November. So same thing. It'll be a mini story, but it will be a new story with new covers rather than just, reprinting the book with new covers on it. So, then we'll see how that plays out as far as the fans go and what they dig. And, this is a good idea. We like this. Yes, no. And then we can make some adjustments to it for 2023 and see if it makes sense to keep doing it that way. But in my mind, that's the way to go, because then they're getting, like a completely new content versus just a new cover.
Yeah, we're doing 47 Furious Tales 3 and 4 this year. Rate of Ages 1, where I'm shipping right now, as you see, and then we're going to do 2, and then try and get 3 in, and then and I say try to get because it kind of depends on what the calendar looks like. So we've got to fit the RPG books this year in too, and then we'll do that on the Sunoco Publishing account rather than my personal account. And then Necroholic is going to debut. We're going to launch that on May 1st on Kickstarter. Actually, the inks are all done, the flatting's going on, and should have that done probably by the time we're done with the 47 Furious Tales Kickstarter campaign. So it's definitely looking up. Very, very busy though.
It's good.
I've really got to I've got to figure out the cadence and get the pace. Especially with I had some interview time scheduled that has to be rescheduled because one of the guys apparently has scheduled a medical procedure that day, and so you can't put that off. And then another guy just basically quit the show that I was supposed to be interviewing on, so they're trying to schedule me in with the guy who's replacing him. So stuff like that. But I'm running a little behind right now. I've got to get my my press release stuff together still. So,
I've almost never. There were times we did press releases, but I just went away from it. I'm just like, I never really saw a result from it. And for me, it's always like, what have we done? What's the result? What's either the ROI or whatever it happens to be. And like, if I don't see some sort of motion out of it, it's like, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. And I'm going to find either a different way, a better way, or just focus on the ways that are working. There's a lot of guys that do like Facebook ads and stuff. We tried it. I never really saw anything happen. So I was like, well, we're not doing that anymore. But I mean, there's not to say that
root
I
beer,
didn't do it
broadcast.
incorrectly.
It's safe for broadcast. It's root beer. Sorry.
Oh, sure. No, doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. Maybe it means that I did it incorrectly. Who knows? I mean, there's people that know how to make these social media things work to their advantage in far better ways than I do. So it's probably a situation where I need to just get somebody to do it for me so I can keep focusing on the creative side and let them do all the
suggested to me too. That was suggested to me too. And I think there's some validity to that because clearly I'm not doing it right. Although the only thing I've ever done is I did one Facebook ad and got absolutely no interaction. So I know I did it wrong because even the people who follow me didn't see it, so I'm like, okay, I did something wrong. But I don't know. I'm focusing on making sure we keep improving on quality and making sure that everything's at the best that we can do, and then trying to keep growing the audience. And organically, it's nice. I mean, Rain was the most backers I've ever had on any campaign to date, so that was kind of cool. Now it's just a matter of getting these books out. I would have liked to have had them a week earlier, but it just was not possible with the current situation.
I've been letting the art sell itself, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly, right? That's me. It's always I want the product to work and do the work. I want people to walk by the booth, or I want people to see the post, and I want people to go, "Oh, that's cool. What is that?" And that's kind of where I come from on all of this. And I know that's a flawed thought process. Trust me, I know that's a flawed thought process, but it's a thought process that I exist in. You know.
Well, I don't know. You raised 39 grand to make a critter
Well,
action figure. Something's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't hate that, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Just tossing the link out to a few people to see if anyone wants to join us. Anybody that's watching, you are welcome to join us, guys. Come in and tell us what you've been up to, what you did this weekend, what you're doing tomorrow. I've got two. Oh my God, do I have two? I have 2 live shows tomorrow. I'll be back on the Comic Book Shopping Network tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time, doing a 2-hour show, and then at 9 Eastern, I will be doing Sunday Sketchin' with Marissa Pope and Ryan Kincaid and April Reyna, and our guest will be Murphy Ludecki from Merck Publishing, and we're going to be talking about Miss Meow tomorrow. So that will be Sunday Sketchin'. That'll be cool beans. Check out her campaign and everything that they got going on.
Have you ever read Miss Meow?
I have not, and I've never met Murphy either. I mean, really just loose online sort of connection. So this will be all new to me. I'm really excited to talk to her because she's got shit going on. I mean, I saw a post the other day where Merck Publishing has freaking billboards up. And at first I thought that was like a Photoshop thing. I was like, that's cool. And they were like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's the real deal, brother.
It's up on this this road. And I was like, what? So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to her tomorrow. And
no, I've read it because I'm a backer. I back them all so far because I'm a big Jamie Tyndall fan, right? And so Jamie Tyndall has a huge hand in that property. So I backed it just for that. But I also think they got one of the coolest looking design characters going right now in like the bad girl genre comic. I love the black and pink look. I think the suit looks sleek and sexy. Almost makes me wish like we had a suit like that for Niobe sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like it just looks
so design one.
Oh,
That's
one
easy.
Day down the road, but I don't want to copy anything either. You know what I mean? Like
no, but
we're
you
doing
can
fine.
Yeah, but you can redesign Niobe to have a suit rather than have the skirt and the jacket. You can do a redesign.
But we, if we ever do that, I'll make it a story though. You know what I mean? Like we won't just change her overnight either. You know what I mean?
Well, you can also just do it for fun, just for covers for art.
Sure,
it doesn't have to be a story thing.
If
it could just be
people like it. Yeah.
I mean, well, because there's a lot of times where there's covers now that get done where they call them cosplay covers. It's like, yeah, it's my character, but they're wearing Rogue's costume, so it's a cosplay cover. You know, that kind of stuff.
What's that like in a legal sense, though?
it's parody, basically. It's just parody. I mean, there's some elements to it that get sketchy because it's like, well, in some cases, I know people that just put the characters on the cover. They're just like, yep, it's Velma, Daphne and Velma. They're on my cover. I'm like, yeah, that's not parody. That's not fair use. That's literally just ripping off somebody's IP. But in the context of like cosplay covers, we've done that a few times. A handful of people have done it. It's kind of almost normal now. They say it looks like Velma, yeah, but it's my character dressed as Velma, you know. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But in your case, it just say, hey, this is just a different suit, and we'll get to it at some point. But it gives you a variation on your character that, and then you can kind of see the result. If people flock to it, then it's really good, and you want to get to that costume story quickly because they want to see it. And if it doesn't do well, then you can be like, well, we did it. It was fun. We got the costume, and we just move on from it.
Flop like ducks in the Canadian winter.
Yeah, man. Balloons.
You'll get the loony. That's right.
Loon bucks.
Loon bucks, brother. Loon bucks. I got these Chris Enoch foil covers in front of me. I'm going to share them. Show them. Oh, I'm going to pack these while we shoot the breeze. You know what I mean?
Sorry about the tape dispenser noise, guys.
So,
Chris Enoch.
Chris Enoch, man.
He's done a few things for us.
Yeah. Big Dog Inc. fame, Lady Death fame, Zenoscope fame. Now Image Comics fame. He's got doing a bunch of covers for Image Comics. So we got him right before that. So
right before he blew up.
Yeah. So these are the foil covers. So these look really nice. We did 5 foils. And there's only 25 of these, so
Mhm.
whoever got one is lucky.
Yeah, our foils are generally about 50 on the high side.
Well, here's
But
the thing: not many
some are
people
much lower.
Well, here's the thing: not many people ordered a bunch of the foils, right?
Sure.
So, Comics Wellspring has a minimum order of 25 of any
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
So I printed 25. We may have gotten rid of like 13 of these. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'll have a couple left over, but I mean, you only printed what we kind of needed with a handful of extras in case lost or damaged.
Mhm.
That's about it.
Sure. Yep. We did the same thing. So yeah,
That's-
like when
that's
we did a bunch of this camp crossover
what-
stuff, same thing. It's like in some of those cases we actually did essentially exact to number. So like there's like 15 of them. So if you guys didn't get them, you're not going to get them.
What happens if one does get lost or damaged? Then you need to replace
Well, again, like if we had 15 made, that means we probably had 12 ordered. That way we can get one over to the artist so he can get a comp, and then we'll have a couple of extras just in case. Plus, when you're doing digital printing, if you really have to, you can go back to print and get one made if you really have to. Yeah. It's not part of like, hey, I have to get 3,000 things made again. So it's a little bit different when it comes to that stuff. That we can be a little tighter on our quantities.
Anything going on in the chats? Any questions? Anyone chatting up?
No, people are just jumping in and out. Shawnee said that this was the last thing we had. Well, she was talking about Justin Hunt's colors rather that you showed us. And then this was when we showed off the Ursa Minor book. I will show you this, guys. I got to load this up here real quick because this is something that we're going to be doing all year as well. I got to remember where the hell I put it. There it is. So I've been talking a while about stretch goals and all that kind of stuff about, do we want to be unlocking like trading cards for the rest of our lives, or do we want to do something a little stronger as far as these things go? So one of the things that I had in mind, and we've done this a couple of times with trade paperbacks for campaigns, is we unlock actual comics. And so this year I have 3 titles that I've been kind of tinkering with, all brand new titles, not spin-offs, just completely brand new titles. And so the idea here is that we're going to do is we're going to have, we'll unlock some simple stuff like people like our poker chips and so on. So we'll continue some of those trends. But instead of just like, hey, $1,000, we unlocked another, trading card or whatever, we're going to do some larger goals that allow us to actually print comic books. Then you're going to get a free comic book, like a brand new thing, not a reprint, not an art book that's a reprint, like an actual brand new book. It'll just be like an 8-page preview thing. And so the first one that we're doing will be part of Ursa Minor in April, and we have the cover now because it's all done. Well, it's almost done. It's still kind of a mock-up, but it's called "It's Only an Island If You Look at It from the Water." It is our Jaws homage, sort of tribute. It's sort of my love letter to Jaws, sort of my thought process of what Jaws 5 could be. Universal, just let me know. I've got it for you. It's ready to go.
Last Jaws I saw was the 3D Jaws in the theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jaws.
That's
3D,
it.
yeah.
I didn't know there was a Jaws 4.
Yeah, it's called Jaws the Revenge. There's no 4 in it. It's called Jaws the Revenge. And Jaws the Revenge is a very weird movie where basically the shark shows up again, spoiler alert, and kills off Sean Brody, the young brother, in Amity. And then the rest of the family goes off to the Bahamas, and the shark follows them to the Bahamas, and we get our shark story. It's not a great movie. It's not as terrible as like people make it out to be, but it's not a great movie. It's kind of strange, especially with the idea that the shark is chasing them. It's this time it's personal is like the tagline, right? But because of the water, these great whites don't go to the Bahamas. The water's too warm, all that kind of stuff. What's interesting though is in the original shooting script, and that shooting script became the novel, there's actually a voodoo element to bringing the shark to the Bahamas. And there's a voodoo guy who basically puts the curse on the Brodies and brings the shark to the Bahamas in the original shooting script and the novel. but it's not in the actual movie that got released. So you lose all of that sort of mystical element, and you just kind of get the shark travels from, you know, Amity to the Bahamas and chases the Brodies down. So this would be, for me, it's not going to be Jaws 5, but it's going to have elements in it that in my mind are Jaws 5.
So this is like a what if? What if Tom wrote Jaws 5?
Sort of, yes, but it's not. I can't use the Brodies and you know, I can't use Amity and so on, but it'll be sort of like, you know, hey, that's kind of like Amity, ha ha ha. You know, you'll get the idea of what's going on. But it will be my story, my characters, and it'll be fun because I always love shark stuff. There was a period of time about 4 or 5 years ago where shark comics were bouncing all over the place. There was Hookjaw came back, which was an old UK comic from the 70s. Who did that? Titan Comics brought Hookjaw back. Basically, it's a big great white with a spear through his mouth, and they call him Hookjaw. So he's swimming around killing people. Dan Schaefer had a book called White. There was a book called oh my god, I don't know. There was a few others, but there were a lot of shark books all of a sudden, it kind of got me thinking about like, how would I do a shark book? Because I like that stuff. It's kind of like the kaiju book, right? It took me like so long to make a kaiju comic book, even though I'm a huge Godzilla fan and kaiju fan. It took me a while to get there, but now I'm there. I got that one, and then we'll have 2 other different titles for each of the other 2 Ursa Minor books. So for July and October, we'll be able to unlock brand new comics for the backers, which I think will be cool. I think that'll be way cooler than just, you know, throwing a bunch of random stuff in the thing.
There's the trading cards Tom don't want to make no more.
There you go. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm guilty, brother. I'm guilty.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And like I said, we're not going to stop doing it, but we're going to modify the structure a little bit. So instead of getting, you know, 10 trading cards, you're going to get maybe 2 or 3 little things and then 1 super big thing. That's kind of our goal.
I was thinking about this the other day about trading cards. I'm like, you know, I probably got like 6 trading cards out there. I'm like, if I keep doing them, eventually I'm going to have like a whole set.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that'll like release the whole set. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. Just tossing ideas around, you know?
Well, you know, and that's the other thing for me for the trading cards. It's like, it's always like old art, like it's art we've turned those in, so it doesn't feel as cool to me. And I want to start leveling some of this stuff up. Like, what if the trading cards had actual exclusive art on the card versus just here's a cover and we turned it into a trading card? I'm trying to level up the game here that we're playing.
Well, I tell you, I've done something similar already with Peter, you know, our good friend that's always on my show. We're getting him to do chibi cards. So you'll get Pete's art on these chibi cards, and that's where it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I've done stickers with Bun Leong. He's done chibi stickers for me.
Yeah.
And that's original art on the stickers. So yeah, 100%. That's the exact thing I'm trying to talk about, is like, how do we get this stuff to level up our playing field here, because we're all kind of doing the same thing, and I'm at a point where I'm like, I feel like I'm just hitting my head against the wall, and I'm like, I need to level up. And so the big level up this year is comics. You're going to get brand new freaking titles that will lead into, you know, comics and stories down the line, and we're going to do that 3 times this year. And I think that should be awesome. Speaking of crappy artists, Brian Peterson has joined us.
Hey, welcome. Hello. How you
First
guys doing?
of all,
How's it going?
I need to say to Mr. Peterson, big fan, brother. Big fan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I've been checking out your stuff too. You're putting out some good looking stuff too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But
it's such a shame that Brian has.
Look,
it's such a shame that Brian has no time to work for you.
Not yet, Tom. Let me just fanboy for a second, will you, man? I've got Mr. Brian Peterson on here, and it's the first time I ever got to meet him, brother.
Oh, is that right? Go.
Yeah,
Do
I
your
love
thing.
your work, man. I've told Tom several times, just in DMs and stuff. I'm like, who's the? Because every time I see a cool piece of art, I usually ask Tom, like, who's the guy that did that? And 9 times out of 10, Brian Peterson. Brian Peterson. You know what I mean? So someday, sir, someday. That's all I'm saying. We gotta talk, man.
Yeah, no, I'm down. I'll probably do a Naomi cover someday if you'd like me
Damn,
to.
there you go. That'd be awesome.
There you go.
You know, Mr. Sam L. Quinton here, sir.
Yeah, we met. I think we did the last time I was on. You were on there as well. Yeah.
Yep. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
So, Brian,
tell us what you're up to.
I've been kind of ghost watching your guys' show for a few minutes.
Okay.
So kind of on track.
I'm sorry if I'm not very entertaining right now, guys. I'm trying to split my attention and pack stuff and label stuff. And...
I'm doing the exact same thing, Sam. I'm like
Okay.
signing comics right now. It feels weird that I'm signing a Chris Enoch cover. I'm like, I have no business doing this, you know.
You made the book. You made the character. Of course.
I know, but it's not really my signature. They should be, you know, like this is Chris's book. You know what I mean? Like, it's how I. Is that weird? Brian,
cover.
to say that?
It's
Like,
your
I feel
book.
weird signing like, you know, someone's cover because I think it's like,
Well, sign
the art is like what sold the book in the first place.
sign the credits,
You know
sign
what
the
I mean?
credits page then.
Nah, I'm just making them nothing out of something, Tom.
You got to go for the cover, man. You got to, you know, I like to stack up all them signatures on the cover. It doesn't matter. You know, as long as somebody worked on the book, I'll take that signature on the cover.
Yeah.
It used to be that people sign the insides. You'll find a lot of inside book, like Stan Lee signatures on the insides and so on. It was really kind of like the late 80s and early 90s where people really started like signing the covers. For me, when I started getting signatures, I didn't start going to cons until like 92 or so. So for me, as soon as I was like getting signatures, I was like, of course, sign the cover. Why would you not sign the cover? I want to see that it's signed. I don't want to have to go digging through all the pages. So
yeah, and then you don't know. Sometimes you can forget too. Like, which book was it that they signed? What page on?
Well, I'll tell you, in my last Kickstarter, I did have people say, like, there's a question on the survey, right? Do you want your cover signed by me? And there's like a yes or no. And I had a lot of people sort of yes, but on the inside, not a lot, but some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, I think
I did a pinup for Tom's Showgirls tribute book. I did like one of the centerfold pieces on that one, and I've actually signed quite a few of the actual centerfold page on those.
Yeah, on a pinup book like that makes sense. Have everybody sign their individual, their individual page. That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. But when you're talking about a story, yeah, absolutely. Load up the covers. I was going to go find that piece. See if we can get it to load up here.
Any news on Bad Kitty?
No. Well, I talked to it might be too big. We got it. I talked to Dynamite on Sunday, actually, and they were talking about figuring out the schedule. So I had expected to hear from them this week, but I didn't. So I don't know. I don't want to drop details that they don't want out yet, but it's soon. It's around the corner.
Beautiful.
It's soon.
So all you guys are creators. What is the policy on releasing Kickstarters? Can you release more than one at once?
Nope.
Are you only allowed to do one at a time?
Yep.
One at a time.
Dynamite's been doing a lot of Kickstarters.
And that's something they've recently started to enforce even more. There was a time where, like, there were people who were like sort of like running multiple campaigns at once.
Yep.
And it became a problem because some of these people were running campaigns when they hadn't fulfilled their first one yet, right? And so this caused issues, in the crowdfunding scene. So Kickstarter and Indiegogo, to a point, have really started to hammer down on that sort of activity. Basically the rule is now you do one, you fulfill it, then you can go ahead and start your second one.
Yep.
And that's really it's mostly there's some elements of being grandfathered into that, because there are folks that will put something out that won't be fulfilled. They'll do another campaign, but because there's a track record behind them of it is fulfilling. It's like there's dudes that haven't fulfilled shit in like years, like literally years. Those guys aren't going to get to be able to come back and do it. But if you have a track record of showing that you're fulfilling, even if you're kind of overlapping a little bit, you'll be able to get
Brian
through.
Polito, you're probably going to be okay.
Right. I mean? They know what's going on. But if it's new people coming in and it's like, hey, we did a campaign, and then 2 months later they're doing another campaign, like that's not going to fly. They're going to make sure that the folks that are starting up are fulfilling what's going on.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
think
but you can never have two running at the same time. Like if you have your account, it's one finish, do another one finish, do another one finish, etc., etc., etc. Yeah.
Are you gonna be dropping a Kickstarter, Brian? What's that?
No. Well, I did a cover for the Bad Kitty, and I've been kind of paying a close attention to Dynamite, just seeing what their moves are, and I've noticed they're just doing back-to-back Kickstarters right now.
Yeah.
Literally, as soon as one ends, the next one launches.
And a couple of those in those situations, some are for complete books, others are just for variant covers. So that's why they can move a little faster, because they're just crowdfunding a cover, and then they ship it out and they do another.
Yeah, a lot of it's covers. Like I remember when Anna the Star Wars School did one. I know Matt Weldon, of Punchline Antarctic Press fame, recently did a Red Sonja cover for them that they're pumping out right now on Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they do things a little bit differently. They don't always do full books like what we're doing here. They do them, but that's not everything that they do. So yeah, and they also use both campaigns. They use or fund or platforms.
Yeah.
They use Indiegogo and they use Kickstarter. So
what about this? What about technicalities? So right now, Dynamite is doing a collaboration with Counterpoint Comics. They have a combined book out right now. Is that, since it's a combined book, is Dynamite allowed to do their own single book too on top of that?
Because it's just your account. You have your account, and you can only have one active campaign at one time.
Okay, yeah, and I'm sure they're the ones who took the book on their account.
I believe so, yeah.
And the thing is, even if you have two accounts, like I have a company account and my personal account. I use the company account for the RPG stuff now, and my personal account for comics and some of the big titles for me, right? But they'll take and check it against who that individual is, and so if you try to launch them simultaneously, they will say no. They will say no. But I wouldn't want to try and run two on the same platform at the same time. Anyway.
I think that's just bad practice anyway. Like, for me, I would never dream of running a second campaign until the very last package of the campaign I'm on has been out the door. You know what I mean? Because it is, to me, it's just bad taste to do that. You want to establish that track record first, which I think we've done. Like, I've been doing this for 8 years and we haven't been late yet, so we're good. But even still, I would do just as an FYI to all the young creators out there, handle your business first before you get into the second bit of business. You know what I mean?
Here is Brian's the piece that we were talking about.
Oh damn, man,
that's gorgeous, man.
So this was from our.
This is what I'm talking about, right?
Penny for Your Soul and Showgirls crossover pinup book thing that we did a couple of years ago, celebrating Big Dog Inc.'s 10-year anniversary and Showgirls' 25th anniversary.
Well, thank you.
Who's the colorist on that? Is that you or is that someone else, Brian?
That was
no. That was. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, that was Elenia DiNapoli.
Beautiful.
Who I've basically. I think there's only been like one time I haven't had Elenia on Brian's stuff and that was just because she wasn't available. But other than that, I team them up basically every time because they work so great together.
Yeah, her colors work great on my lines. I tend to use a little bit more anatomy in my artwork than I notice a lot of other comic book artists use. A lot of people keep it a little more simple. I kind of pull out the muscles a little bit, but not to where she looks too muscular, but fit. And I think Elenia does a great job at kind of pulling out those muscles without overdoing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and here I'll show you a couple of different. She's got a couple of different styles too. Here she went with kind of a pseudo realistic style, especially if you look in the faces, they kind of have that kind of more realistic kind of vibe with the lighting. But then when we're doing with Blue Jay's a little bit more back to sort of normal comic book style coloring. So she can move her style around depending on what's needed for the project.
Yeah,
so
because I would say that first one, the Showgirls cover, like the way that the style of coloring was, reminded me of something like I would see out of like a pinup magazine from like Olivia or something. You know what I mean?
Right. And that was done on purpose. So, yeah. Let me get these because Elenia did his his Bad Kitty piece as well. So we can put this up here. You guys can see the teaser for that. Bonk,
Yeah,
right there.
That's CB Zane, right?
No, that's Brian.
Oh, see, bam. Look at that.
That's Brian and Elenia again.
Yeah. That's gonna sell well, dude. That's gonna
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're gonna make Dynamite very happy. Let's put it that way.
You never really know, but I'm always optimistic.
I think so. I've seen some of the covers that you guys have been doing. You're on there. CB Zane's on there. You have a couple of like Dynamite talent that's on there with Tom's guys. There's a nice blend and mix, right? I'm trying to think of the couple other names there. Tom, help me out.
So it's Brian. It is CB doing the basic cover.
Isn't Shannon Meyer on there too?
Shannon is one of them. Yes. Yeah. Trying to go through what we've shown because we haven't shown everything yet.
Wasn't there a Bill McKay too?
There.
Am I wrong?
Yes, there's a Bill McKay. I don't know if we've told people that there's a Bill. Now we have. Now we have.
I could have swore I saw it on Facebook. I didn't know.
I think we did too. Yeah. But yeah, Bill is on there.
I don't think you told me about that. I think I just saw it. I don't know. I was just trying to recall my memory here.
No, you're good. You're good. And there's a handful of others. So yeah, it's a nice. And there's going to be cosplay stuff as well. Oh my god, I can never remember her name. Shit. She's been doing Dynamite stuff for a long time. She's doing the Barbarella.
Dynamite has some of the nicest cosplay covers. I like the Red Sonja cosplay covers actually.
Yeah. So this lady who I gotta remember her name. She did an amazing job. So I'm really excited to have her on this as well. So yeah. So there's a lot for this. It's going to be a really really fun campaign.
Well, let me ask Brian this. Brian, man, how long have you been an artist, and what got you started, man, in doing all this?
I've been doing art forever. I decided I want to pursue it as a career. In my late teens, maybe college area. I tried a few different things. I actually I worked for a movie director for a little while, and I did concept art for horror movies that were like Sci-Fi Channel quality. A little lower budget, indie stuff. I did that for free actually for like I did it for 2 different movies, and it was fun, but you can't work for free. And it was exposure. It was an exposure job. It was one of my first like real art jobs. I worked at a tattoo shop for a year. I did fine art for 5 or 6 years, and then I decided to pursue comics. And I just trained myself, honed my art skills into comic form, and just started doing my own thing in Comic Cons, and started getting some people to pay attention and at least notice me. My very first cover I ever did was for Brian Pulido for Lady Death.
Really?
Yes.
Your very first comic book cover ever, and it's for Lady Death, man?
That's awesome.
Very first cover, yeah, it was pretty.
All right,
cool.
So let me slow the train down here first. Were you a comic book fan growing up? Like, were you into comics? Did you read comics before you decided to jump in there? And what were like some of the things you were digging, man?
So I've been into comics. I remember buying my first comic books when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade. I bought a Captain America and a Wolverine. I still have them to this day. They're pretty beat up, but I still have them.
Well loved, sir. Well loved.
Yeah, and I remember Spawn was a huge influence. When Spawn came out, you could pick it up at like King Soopers or the grocery store or gas station or wherever. And I used to always pick up every issue of Spawn, and started just really falling in love with comics big time. X-Men were a huge influence.
Brother.
The older X-Men stuff. And it just kind of grew from there.
So did you find like the transition then, like, when you decided that you're going to try, doing this comic book thing from fine art to like doing, sequential pages and covers and modifying that stuff? Was that like a difficult transition for you, man?
It's a whole different ball game. Like with fine art, you just kind of produce what you want, and then you try to find somebody who will put it up, and then you just got to hope that you can sell it. One of the harsh realities of fine art is most people really only want to buy fine art that matches their furniture. I had I had a showroom that I actually worked at, and people didn't know I was the artist. I had a whole wall there that had paintings all over it, up for sale in this showroom. It was a very ritzy showroom, and I'd listen to all these rich ladies talk about my artwork all the time. They'd have no idea that I was the artist. I was just kind of doing my thing back there, and they're like, "Oh, this is beautiful. This is amazing. If only it was one." Or whatever, it has to match their furniture for them to invest in it. And, I got so frustrated with that as an artist, being limited to doing things that people want to match with their interior. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about comic book artwork, is, there's not that many boundaries. There's not that many rules. You just kind of create what you want or what other people similarly like, and you just go from there rather than trying to make it fit a house.
So how did you catch because you said your first cover, right, was with Brian Pulido's Lady Death. Now I got to tell you, growing up, I collected Lady Death, and now we look at, Brian Pulido as probably like the king of comic book Kickstarters, right? Like he's the man, you know what I mean? So how did you catch the eye for your very first cover of the man, Brian Pulido, dude? Walk us through that story.
Yeah, so I go to a lot of Comic Cons here. I live in Denver, Colorado. Luckily it's a pretty big city, so we get some pretty decent sized shows out here. And I've gone to, we started getting Comic Cons out here in like 2012. I went to every single Denver Comic Con since they started here. And I just go around. I literally, like the first 4 or 5 years I went to those conventions, because they're the first ones I've ever been to. I literally talked to every single person. I'd go up to every single booth. I would talk to everybody and ask them every question I could think of. And Brian Pulido, he was there pretty much every year. I'd always go and talk to him and just say, hey, I grew up with Lady Death too. I loved Lady Death in the 90s. Everybody, loved that 90s Lady Death stuff. But, I started chit-chatting to him. I said hi to him every year. And then one year I actually asked him, I was like, hey, man, do you accept artwork submissions? He goes, yeah, he's like, you can submit and show me anything you like. He's like, I can't guarantee I'm going to use it, but you can always show me. And if I like it, he's like, yeah, you could probably use it. So I went back and I decided to come up with something. I worked really hard on it. This was probably about 2015, something like that. And the next year, when Denver Comic Con came around, I brought it to Brian Pulido, and he had a whole bunch of people around the table at the time, and he kind of seemed like he was going to use me almost kind of like as entertainment. He's like, hey, everybody, I want you to see how the comic industry works. Check this out. And I don't think he thought my artwork was going to be quite as good as it was. So he opened up my portfolio, I handed him the portfolio, and he took a look at it. And I think he was kind of surprised. And he sat down, and he literally, everything kind of went silent, and everything kind of stopped. And he had to sit and think. And he stared at it and stared at it. And he says, this is really, really good. He's like, but I can't quite use this. There was a couple flaws in her face, just a couple things that were a little rough. But he says, you were so, so close. And he took like 10 minutes to tell me that. So I knew I was really close. So I decided I was going to try one more time. That whole next year, I was like, I'm going to come up with a really good Lady Death. And I finally got one done. I submitted it to him the next year. So it was like a 3-year process trying to get this one cover to come out. And the third try, or not really the third try, the third time I saw him, I submitted it, and he just says, wow. He says, this is beautiful. And he called his wife over, and Francesca said, yeah, this is great. And they loved it. They got Jason Jensen, who is the original Lady Death colorist, color it for me. So that, you know, as a Lady Death fan, I was pretty honored to have the OG Lady Death colorist do that. And
Yeah, that had to be amazing, man.
yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I got to do a signing for the release at their booth at Denver Comic Con. The comic sold out in under 24 hours, so it was good.
Yeah, that's a story and a half, right? Damn, your first cover, Lady Death, you blow them away. And you know, here's the thing, you know, to all these guys out there that want to be, you know, Jim O'Reilly, talk about fantastic artist right there, by the way. You know, to get into this business is the grind is real. You know, I mean, you grind for 2 or 3 years to get that, you know, that one done. And now I bet you though, and correct me if I'm wrong, that launched you, right? I mean, that just, you know, doing that probably puts you right in the thick of things, right?
It really helps to have in your portfolio. I'm not going to lie. You know, almost everybody's heard of Lady Death. You know, it's been around for such a long time. It definitely helps to have that under my belt. You know, I'm mostly proud of my BDI stuff. Tom's helped me grow as an artist. So, you know, that's my thing right now.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. How did you and Tom, you know, sort of gravitate to each other?
Yeah. So, you know, I've been aware of Big Dog Inc. for a while. I'm a huge Jeff Scott Campbell fan, and Tom had Jeff Scott Campbell do a run of covers for him. So that's how I got started with BDI. I picked up every version of every Campbell cover. So I have like every black and white and alternate colors and you name it. And I was like, okay. I was like, Big Dog Inc.'s pretty cool company. I was like, I was like, they'd be a great company to work for someday. And so I always in the back of my head, you know, he's always had amazing cover artists. I'm a huge Nei fan. He has Nei always on his stuff. But one time I just decided to ask him just to be my friend on Facebook, just so I could kind of, you know, see what he's doing and whatever.
Be my friend.
Yeah, be my friend. You know, I just like to see what other artists and creators are doing. And so he accepted my friend request. And, you know, I just kind of, I'm not the most active on Facebook, but I post somewhat, you know, I post a couple times a month. And I noticed that Tom was taking a little interest into my art. He started liking some of my stuff. And one day he actually approached me. He's like, hey, man, I got a project. Would you like to contribute? And I said, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's going back to that Scheherazade book that we talked about with the Paul Green cover earlier. That was Brian's first ever Big Dog Inc. book. Was
I wish we had
in
like
space.
our own Jamie from like Joe Rogan or something. We're like, Jamie, bring up these covers. I want to see.
Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. I can bring it up. I'll bring it up.
Yeah, let's have a look at, you know.
My middle name is Jamie. Okay.
All right, man. We've got our new Jamie, folks. But I mean, so Big Dog Inc. You get started, and you're working with pros already. And Nei Rufino, you know, just mentioned, is probably an absolute legend, I would say, in this business for colors. I mean, I rank her right up there with like, you know, like an Ula Moss or, you know, a Sanju, or, you know what I mean? Like some of these were like really great artists that are just kicking butt right now, you know?
Yeah, she's definitely in that top bracket. I agree.
Oh, look at that. This is your first cover for BDI right here?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, how tough was Tom on you when you submitted? Did he love it right away? Did he walk you through some corrections, or how smooth of a process was working with Tom?
So Tom is actually, you know, I think he's definitely known for making sure that it's done right. You know, I see a lot of people saying like, "Oh, Tom hit me with some edits, but I got the edits made and whatever." You know, every cover I do for Tom, you know, there's always a couple things that need tweaking. And the thing about working with Tom is he's got a great eye for seeing the little things that do need that little bit of tweaking. You know, I try to create the best piece of art that I can. But sometimes, you know, sometimes what I see might be a little bit off in a way. And it's always good to have that other perspective, especially from somebody who has the eye. And he calls me out every time that I have something that looks a little rough. But, you know, most of the time it's only one or two things a piece. Sometimes there's nothing. Sometimes he's like, it's great, let's go. But, you know, every single time he hits the nail on the head, and, you know, he's right. I can't
Yeah,
argue.
so every artist,
Sometimes
right?
I'm like, damn it, I got to fix that. But I noticed it was a little wrong. So here we go.
Like I find when I work with different artists, they all have like a different way that they want to approach it and do things. Like some will show me the roughs before they even like, you know, put any fine lines on to make sure it's kind of what I want. And some don't even show me anything until it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find those ones a little harder to deal with because you know, I have one instance where a guy was showing me the, like, you know, the final lines, and I'm like, yeah, but this isn't right. This doesn't look like Niobe. You know, we kind of have to do this again. And he was almost insulted. He's like, well, I never had to submit Rust before. And I'm like, well, you know, it's not right though. You know what I mean? Like, and so I find those situations sort of difficult to walk through. We got it done, by the way, no problems at all. We went back and fixed it. You know, and some people, you know, I've worked with just for so long that I know they're going to do me justice, so I don't even check, right? But what's your process? Do you show roughs first, or do you go right for the kill? How's that work with you?
So when I first started and I had no idea, I just like with Brian Polito, for example, I just drew the best piece that I could, and I'd be like, hey, do you like this? Do you want to use it? But of course,
but that's real quick. That's like a spec cover, though. Like he's just telling you draw what you want, and then I might or may not use it. And there's a lot of publishers that do that. They'll tell artists, turn in whatever you want, and we may or may not use it. And that's different from actually commissioning somebody to do a cover.
Yeah, no, and like I was just about to say, I learned very quickly that that's the wrong way to do it in the industry. So definitely, I do a digital rough first. Every color or every cover that I do, I mock it up on my computer. Anytime I have to do any edits, I can make them really fast. If I need to make it bigger or smaller, or if I need to chop off an arm or whatever, I can do all that quick on the computer. And then I send Tom, you know, sometimes I'll have to do a bunch of poses to where, you know, there's been a couple pieces I did 6 or 7 poses for, and before we found the one that was just right. But, you know, once we get the right pose, then I do a pencil rough. And then once Tom likes what I have on my rough, I go and I do a clean pencil version. So realistically, I kind of draw it 3 times. The digital rough is very rough, though. Usually the background has no detail, no nothing. It's just kind of a layout so you can kind of see. Sometimes I get a little more involved in it, but most of the time it's just to get a pose.
What is your favorite cover that you have drawn for Tom? Like the one you go, this, you know, if I had to pick one out of my, and I know they're all your babies, right? But if you were to pick one of them, you know, the favorite child, right? Which cover would you say is your best BDI cover you think you've ever done?
I gotta say, you know, I'm really proud of the first 360 Princess vs. Zombie set I did for Tom. That was a super challenging cover.
Jamie, I see those.
And yeah, there you go. Tom's got the remote there. I don't know how to do that, but also my current favorite is the Blue Jay Transformers homage, or maybe you know, I like the Goth Day one too. I think the Goth Day one turned out pretty sexy.
When did you know that you had that sexy style, right? Like, you know, I remember like watching Mark Silvestri. He talked about like when he brought on Michael Turner. He said, you know, Michael Turner was like a really good artist, but you just knew he knew how to draw the female form in a way like no other, you know? I mean, you definitely have that sexy style, you know, that bad girl style. I mean, you're doing Lady Death, you're doing BDI. When did you realize that was sort of like your vibe, man?
Welcome, Mr. Bishop. We're just chatting art right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
How's it going?
So, guys, here are the the three. I'm going to show you before he moves on. We're going to show you the 360 piece that he did. So the idea here that we had was to take a scene with the 3 characters, the 3 princesses, right? Think sort of Matrix style, right? So in the front, you would have Bella Rose, and then the other 2 would be in the back. This is your pose. So you're seeing her in the front. You're seeing the other 2 from the other side, right?
Yeah.
Then we would shift it so everything stays the same. But now Mrs. White is in the front and the other 2 are in the back. And then finally, of course, Cindy is in the front and the other 2 are in the back. So sort of Matrix style 360. This is the first time, so far as I can tell, this type of thing has ever been done. We have done it one more time since. It's very labor intensive, as you can see.
Well, I gotta
And,
ask before you go on. I gotta
Yeah.
ask Brian. Brian, how did you pull this off so that it looks like you literally are just sort of like walking around them and everything looks right? Because that to get that exact, you know, like the almost mirror exact. There must be a trick to this or a job. How did you do it, man?
Oh, it's really hard, actually. That was the biggest challenge of the whole project. The background was very easy. You know, it's a generic cemetery. I could just kind of throw filler in there or whatever I wanted. But definitely, like you said, the girls, they needed to be exact all the way around. I kind of referenced a little bit of poses from various models for the front view, and then I had to. Of course, manipulate it, and I made a lot of changes to every pose. Like, I have this weird little mannequin doll thing that works fairly well. I could kind of pose it in the other angles and look at it from the different sides. It just took a lot of time more than anything. It's just got to keep looking back at the old one and remember where your details are.
Tom,
and
that
I'll show you guys his most recent two. Well, actually, they're not the most recent two because his Oz came out, but because we were talking about Ursa Minor earlier. So this was his Lost Girls
look at this
cover that he did last year.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I get a kick out of the belt.
And so this is going to be the theme, sort of, as we go into his next cover for Ursa Minor this year. It'll be Lost Girls again, but it'll be Lost Girls. So we'll have more than one, and that's where we'll use this logo and all this stuff for it. So, and then take that off. And then last June was the 40th anniversary of the Cannonball Run. So we did a Blue Jay and Critter in the Lamborghini.
I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite images that I've seen you pump out recently.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, I love. Well, first of all, the characters are awesome. I love the fact that they're hanging out in a Lamborghini. This is just a beautiful piece, man.
It was kind of strange to do a horizontal cover. That was my first horizontal cover I've ever done. So it felt kind of weird, but it did turn out good. Drawing cars was definitely a lot of work. I had to use. I bought this set of French curves just for that, and I've gotten very good at French curves since then.
You can see Mr. Smithers in the chat room. He's got his avatar is that piece.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Thomas Bishop, by the way. I don't know if we've ever met, but Tom, introduce me.
Well, I mean, I don't think we've ever formally. I think maybe in the comments we've talked. I know that.
Okay.
But no, I mean, I'm just into the whole independent, comics and big, as Tom knows, big lover of movies and TV shows and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, Mr. Bishop's been a supporter of Big Dog Inc. for quite a while. He jumps on the Doghouse shows. He jumps into our live shows from time to time, and so I tossed him the link. Good to see you, man. Glad you're having a good. I mean, I love seeing your background for like the million DVDs.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
That's quite the collection.
And it kind of pisses me off because all mine are in boxes. I don't have the shelves for them, and I need to get the shelves to like get that stuff set up.
Yeah, no, it was not easy doing it. It took some doing to finally, because I just what I needed was just the big metal shelves that used to exist in DVD stores.
For sure. Yeah.
I got mine just in stacks and piles, and it's the worst. You get the one you want to watch is on the bottom. You gotta try to slide that sucker out with 40 on top of it.
Yeah, man, I've got two stacks next to me and a stack like right over here. That just no matter how much you do, or how much you watch, you can never have enough.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Got to catch them all.
Something like that. Let's see here. I was going to find there it is. We'll get the Transformers one you were talking about. So last year was also the 35th anniversary of the Transformers animated movie. So we did a little Blue Jay here, Starscream style. I'm the new leader at Big Dog Inc.
I love it. I love it.
Do
Now,
little Transformers
Galvatron doesn't come down and destroy her, though. You know.
That's, yeah, she got out in time. She's fine.
Right?
She's fine.
Still the best
so
Transformers movie ever, right?
We'll have some odds and ends of those types of things throughout the year too. So, yeah. Not necessarily with Brian, but we have some plans to do those types of things.
Well, what do you got coming up in the future, Brian, other than what's already been discussed? Is there any other titles you're working on with any other creators? Anything in the horizon?
Yeah, I've got a few things lined up. I'm doing a Hardly Thin exclusive to Flames Comics. I'm working on something right now for Ryan Kincaid. And I've got some stuff going on with Tom. Me and Tom have revolving projects. I've got a lot going on with Blue Jay with Tom. So majority of my time that goes to art always ends up falling on Blue Jay or something, because we just need to keep cranking those out here. So yeah. But I'm squeezing some stuff in between as best
any
as I can.
Convention appearances, anything like that on the horizon?
Yeah, I can't believe it. It felt like convention season just ended like a week ago, but I guess I've already got some lined up here. I've got one first weekend in March, I think, first weekend in April, first weekend in May, and they just start rolling in from there. So I've got a few coming up. The first one I'm doing this year is called the Wicked West Comic Expo. It's going to be a first-year show. We'll see how it goes, but it's a Colorado show, and Colorado shows are always pretty decent. So I'm looking forward to it. I got a horror show actually that I'm doing in May. It's called the Oddity and Bizarre Expo, and it's not a huge nationwide show or anything like that, but it's actually like this last year was the best show I ever had. At the Oddity and Bizarre Expo.
Is that all Colorado stuff, or are you moving around? Like what?
These two shows in particular are Colorado. I'm booked for Salt Lake City. Let's see where else out of state. I think most of it's here in Colorado. I've got like 7 or 8 shows just here. Oh
wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that area. There's quite a bit in that area. And I've really only been in there like twice. I did Denver Comic Con twice, once on our own and once with Aspen. So it's a fair show, but it's too far away for me to be jumping in and out.
Yeah, if I had a nicer house or a bigger house, I'd be like, hey, you can come crash here and, we'll roll the show together. But, I don't have a huge house. I got kids, so, they control every inch of it. But there's some good shows. Colorado's economy is booming right now. I mean, we have so many people just moving here constantly.
That's because pot's legal.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% why. But everybody that's moving here has money to spare. So as far as shows and things like that go, a lot of the people that are there do have money to spend. And statistically, I don't even have to go that far to do better than most of my other out of state shows here.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We'll definitely. I'm only doing a handful of shows this year, so we might not get hooked back up until Albuquerque in January. I mean, I don't even think I'm going to do Duke City this summer, but that's just because there's family stuff happening that I think I'm going to end up doing in June, and then who the hell knows?
Albuquerque's having a show this summer.
Yeah, they do 3 shows. So they do Albuquerque Comic Con in January, they do Duke City in June, and then they have another one that they call Santa Fe. It's all in the same place. But
I've done Santa Fe a few times.
Yeah, they just have 3 different names. But yeah, I'll be back for Albuquerque next year for sure. I was really bummed I didn't get to do it this year, but I was just too swamped with stuff. And Jim's been really great for us, so I'm happy to go back and support Albuquerque. And when I can do the other shows, I do, but it's rare because it's just too much of too much of a drive for me for his smaller shows. I used to do them when they were like back to back with other things, but you know, that's a rarity now. Usually everything's the same day versus like this week and this week and this week. It's like everybody wants to be on the same week. I'm like, yo, I can't do your show if you're on the same weekend as 4 other places, man.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. Mr. Smithers, what's going on?
Not much, guys. How's it going?
You know where I was the other day?
Let me guess. Was it Taco Bell?
And they were like, don't you have coupons?
Oh,
and I was like, no.
Nope. They're still sitting in my backseat of my car.
I was there this evening too.
Thomas, I never promised you shit.
I know you didn't, but I was there.
Supporting the bell. Excellent.
Brian, I love your shit, man.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. I love your Facebook logo, man. That's badass.
That Jesse James Comics 2-cover set you did with the from Penny for Your Soul. Wow, that was just so good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all good, but that when I got that in the mail, I was just like, damn. I think I messaged you right away too.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just great.
I'm still
they
waiting
turned
on
out pretty sexy.
from the last one.
Anytime I get to draw those girls like that, you know, count me in. That's fun.
Yeah, it came out good. I'm trying to find out where the hell that is so we can show people what they're missing, because it was a very, very limited edition set.
Yeah, I think 66.
66 sets. Yeah, there's not many out there. God damn it, where is it? Oh, I have it. Okay, it's not together. I have the pieces. All right, that's fine. We'll show the pieces. So this was a set done for Jesse James Comics for his 666th live sale show, and so he did 66 sets of a puzzle cover for Penny for Your Soul. So here's the left side, and here is the right side. And good luck ever getting a set if you don't have one. I only have one set. I mean, I just have the one set for the archive, and that's it.
Yeah.
So if you missed it, you're going to have to pry it out of Smithers' hands.
Fuck that.
And that's probably not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, I sold all mine. I had a couple sets to sell, and they're gone.
That's
I don't think I've seen it on eBay yet either.
Oh no, there's no way. There's no way. Unless somebody bought it for the intent of flipping, which happens. Some people do that. There's people on our Kickstarters that I know the day that they got their Kickstarter, they're flipping it on eBay. I know that's happening because I'm watching it happen. But you know, that's the rarity. That's the exception to the rule. So that was some early Brian stuff too. That was, you'd only done like a few pieces, and then when he asked me, I was like, yo, you got to have Brian do it.
I had a lot of fun doing that one. I'm glad you guys put me on board on that. That was fun.
It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. I'm excited to get you going on Ursa Minor now, because I'll kick you before I go to bed tonight. I'll kick you sort of the general thought process. But I don't know if you've seen these. So the idea here is that we're going to be doing 2 versions, right? We're going to have the version with a logo at the top, and then just Virgin. So like here's DeBalfo's cover. So you can kind of see the idea of what we're going to do. So when we design your cover, we want to make sure that we leave space for the logo. We can overlap it a little bit, but we don't want to like bury it.
Sure.
And so this is the logo for the Lost Girls. There's a lot of pieces here that we'll, organize properly. But this is what Brian's going to be doing.
Yeah, that looks good.
Tom's trying to figure out how to get it off now.
We lost you.
There we go. Can we hear me?
Yeah, we got you back, brother.
No, we can't. Hold on.
No, we got you.
We can
hear you.
All right,
There you
welcome
go.
to IOB Live on LP.
Let's see some more of those amazing covers.
Well,
If we
I'm
can
gonna
see you.
show Brian when we get rid of the logo some of the J. Scott Camel covers I have, because he's such a fan. I'm gonna show him some of the ones I got here, because I happen to have a stack that's right beside me. Right.
I saw you put up that what's your name? The girl with the sword.
Magic.
Yeah. Yeah, that was-
Listen, Magic is my all-time favorite X-Men character. Period. She might even be my favorite Marvel character. Period. Like
Oh, wow.
when Justin Hunt sent me his cover, he sent me the original, and he sent me this beautiful Magic print. He's like, "I know you're a fan of Magic, big fan of Magic, right?" So he sends me this gorgeous metal print, and Canada Post jacks it all up, man.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah, the whole
no.
bottom got crunched in, and it was really sad, man. It's like, oh, damn, it was such a beautiful print too. And he had paid extra. Get this, he had paid extra to make sure nothing happened to it, right? Like, you know what I mean? You can put extra money on it, whatever. And they still managed to mess it up.
Yeah, the postal service is terrible. I'm sure it's the same everywhere, but I've noticed it's just, it doesn't matter who you send it through lately. There's always somebody who just throws your package.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Well, my brother works for a shipping company, and his advice to me always was pack it like it's going to go through a war, because they don't care about your packages, man.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw somebody sent a package. Was it Shawnee? I can't remember who it was. No, it was Mike and Trish. They got a package that looked like it gotten bit by a shark. I mean, it just was like, how does that even happen? It's really bizarre. Really bizarre what happens in the shipping world.
He's showing off some J. Scott Campbell.
Yeah, I had
covers.
lots of people try to buy this one off me. Not for
nice.
sale. Yeah, this one here tends to be going up in value. You talk about flipping and shit. Flippers like that one. Not all of these are money books. Some of these are just cool covers. You know what I mean? That one's a really nice one.
Yeah, I have a short box with that art on it.
From early days. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful.
Did you get that one? Is that the trade paperback, or is that the single issue?
No, this is a single issue.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is there's an artist that lives in my city who drew this book. Nick Bradshaw had drawn this book. So I got Nick to sign it, but it was a J. Scott Campbell cover, Oh.
Yeah, the first time I saw that cover, it was only available as a trade paperback, and then I eventually got it as a comic.
There's a beautiful black cat cover there. And then not his typical style, but this one's really cool. It's Deadpool.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
badass.
that's actually one of the first covers I've ever seen where the artist incorporates all of the other characters in the inside of the figure. I've never seen another artist do that before that cover. And then since Jeff Scott Campbell's done it, I've seen a whole bunch of people try it.
Yeah, it's badass. The only time I ever ordered from his store was for this one. So that one's got a signature, and then it comes with a funky little certificate in the back. Some Magic. This one here's another money book. Apparently this one's going up. It's probably a $200 book by now.
Yep, I've got that one. I actually had him sign it. I think Nia signed mine too. It's double.
Yeah, it was like a 1 of 40, 1 of 50 variant, kind of like the Star Wars one was.
Yep.
I was gonna make a video on some of my favorite covers. I'm just showing them now. So that was like the all-female X-Men back in the day. Beautiful Emma Frost here.
Yeah, those ones were cool. That the X-Men covers, I like the Juggernaut one that he did.
Yeah.
Dude, that one was sick.
Yeah, no, I do have them all. This one here is cool. I got this as a poster in my room.
I have that poster too. Yeah.
Yeah. Gorgeous cover there. And this one here, he just pumped out. I had to pick it up. I actually bought 2 copies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that just came out recently.
Yeah, that just came out recently. Yeah.
I didn't buy that one, but I know that one's gonna be worth a lot.
And then I have like one graded book here I got from PGX.
PGX, just break that out, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I got it for like $20. It was cheap.
I remember somebody brought some PGX books to me. They were Penny for Your Soul books that were PGX 10s. And I was like, how legitimate is this, man? Come on.
I'll just show these quickly. These are Jamie Tyndall covers. This one here is a little rarer one to find. Hit List. And then we got his White Widow. Got this beautiful Mayday cover. When I met him, I got this off him. Got him to sign this one. That one's epic. I Make Boys Cry. This one here I also bought from him directly. The Baroness Ratchet
Oh yeah, I love that one.
That one's sick.
Ravage, not Ratchet.
Ratchet. I had it right the first time, Tom.
Ravage.
Ratchet's
Mr. Smithers,
something
you
else.
have 3 large
Yeah,
priority
Ratchet was like
mailboxes
the,
that went out
Ratchet was-
today.
What's that?
Sweet.
3 large priority boxes for you.
Well, there's
going out
like
today.
there's like that 130 comics or whatever I got for like $30 from me.
Yeah, you bought like the rack.
yeah.
Yeah. So those are all out the door for you.
Nice.
Yeah,
How do you ship that? Do you just load up a whole short box and like
It's
wrap it up for
three
good, or
priority mail, large priority mail boxes,
yeah?
double box.
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna say
you know,
they're double box.
I like your
Do you
double
like take
boxing
those
technique.
together, or do they go out like separately?
No, I got Penny
They
for
go
Your
separately.
Soul 7 Kickstarter, which was like I think it was like 20 some books from Tom, and like it came like it was sitting out in the rain all day.
Oh yeah, I
and
remember
the
that
box, the first box was like pretty much destroyed by the time I got it in the house. But the books were great in the second box. It was awesome.
one. Yeah. It was under again. They were trying to feed it to the sharks, just like they fed it to Trish's package. Yeah, it's wild stuff.
Congratulations, by the way, to Tricia and Mike for successfully funding
For sure.
the book.
Yeah, their first one ever.
Brink and Fetch.
Absolutely. That was
With a
awesome.
Penny for Your Soul homage cover.
That's right. Steph Wilson. Actually.
Did you get that one, Mr. Smithers? Was that the
Of
one you
course
bought?
I did. I got
Look
this
at
today.
that. Look at that. That's Louis Torres' book right there.
Yep, just got it yesterday. I got Steph's sketchbook for Sweater Girls.
There you
issue
go.
2.
brother. Yeah, I watched a nice interview with Steph Wilson. It was on Andrew McDavis's channel, and every cover that Steph showed, there was a story behind it. It was a great watch.
Well, if you watch his live show, he'll sit there and talk about why he's drawing things the way he's drawing them.
Yeah,
It's pretty impressive.
yeah, I like watching that. I also like watching CB Zane. Sometimes we'll
Yep.
stream snipe
Yeah.
CB Zane while he's doing his show, and I'm like, "You're on our show, brother."
Yeah, CB. I like when CB talks about like why he's doing things a certain way. It's just really interesting for someone that doesn't draw. That's always wanted to draw. To listen to how they do it.
Yeah, I remember like when I first found him, it was through a book he was doing Into the Suck, and I'm like, whatever this is, I gotta own it, right?
Yeah.
And so I bought the first 3. I'm just like, this guy's awesome, man. I was sold immediately, you know.
I found him through Big Dog Inc. I started buying his covers, and I was just like, damn. And then he was on Artist Alley Shopping Network, and it just went from there. And look at that.
That's just incredible.
Oh,
Mr. Zane on the Bad Kitty.
now I own like 3 or
That's
4
gonna
pieces
make you
of
money,
his.
brother. That's gonna make you some money.
I'm not worried about the money. I want the
He wants-
prestige. I
There's
want
the
the
wants-
CB Zane cover he did for us with the Mighty Mike.
Yep.
In fact, I was working on my pitch for what's next for Bad Kitty in my head tonight. I was like, okay, next week I have to just come to them and be like, what's next? Tell me I have the green light, because like I want to tell you what I'm doing, what I want to do with this character, and how I want it to work. So you know, I'm
Probably gonna
anxious.
have to wait till see how that Kickstarter does though. Probably.
No, screw that. This is where this is where
He's past
confidence.
that now.
Listen, this is where confidence and you know, assertiveness comes in. It's like, look,
Just go kick down the doors at Dynamite. Like, listen,
that's
this is
correct.
what we're doing.
That's correct. Look, this is what we're doing. This is how it's going to work. This is why it's going to work. Just say yes, so I can start now. And that way, when you guys are actually officially ready and this campaign is done, we're in. We're already like, you know, the wheels are already turning. Just make it happen. And they actually gave me the okay to pitch another one of their characters as well. So I'm in the process of figuring out how to deal with that.
If the Dynamite gods were to come to me and say I could do any one thing, my answer is obvious. Give me something Red Sonja. That's what I want.
Tom's more in the obscure. Why
Yeah,
people haven't
this
written
is
yet.
a good question. So Tom, if you get if anything comes up for any title ever that you say, hey, you can do this whole storyline, say 2 years worth, right? Monthly release. One character. Which character are you choosing?
Are we talking about Dynamite stuff?
Talking about anything ever made.
All right, ask me next.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go first. You can go first, Lear. We already know the answer. Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, if it's anything, like anything at all, right?
Yep.
Give me a brand new 4-part Magic miniseries where I can do it right.
Tom,
That's it. I want to write Magic of the X-Men.
Magic's fine.
Limbo.
I can't stand what they're doing with Magic right now.
I know, that's why I want to.
And this ridiculous black anime costume thing. It's like, oh my god, this is terrible. And I love Magic. I love the character. I love the concept of the character. But it's a mess. But for me, I mean, obviously, if they're giving me carte blanche, obviously the answer is like Wonder Woman. You want to put your mark on something real that'll be there for a long time. But you know, that's not even a rational thing. So to stay within the realm of rational things, the only characters really that I like from Marvel and DC at this point would be the ones that are really untouched. Sort of the B or even C level types of characters, almost like the Suicide Squad, right? Where you just have these ridiculously stupid characters that nobody gives a shit about, and you can try and really turn them into something. I wouldn't quite go as low as like Polka Dot Man, like that's pretty low on the totem pole. But there's characters like Princess Python at Marvel that I would love to take those types of characters and monkey around with and do something cool with them, because I think that would be up my alley to be able to take those types of things and make awesome stories out of them. So that would be the direction that I would go with Marvel or DC if they were like, what do you want to do? I'd be like, give me Princess Python or give me Batgirl from the Batman and Robin movie. I want Alicia Silverstone Batgirl. I want to tell those stories.
If I was to pick a B character, then I guess I'd go Firestar.
Yeah, Firestar's cool.
What about you, Sam?
There's lots of cool B characters and even C characters.
For me, for Marvel, it'd be Rom of the Space Knight.
Damn.
Well, that would be now IDW.
Yeah, but I would say I would do. It's originating in Marvel. Well, originating at Hasbro.
Hasbro. Yeah.
Hasbro.
Oh, the Christian.
From DC. From DC, I think I'd write the Question.
See, I didn't answer for DC. I do Harley from DC, but my Harley be on acid.
Yeah, there's answers for everything. The ultimate thing for me would be Godzilla. I mean, that's the ultimate, because that's what put me in comics. Without me seeing Godzilla comic on top of a pile at a flea market, all of this doesn't exist, because I wouldn't know what a comic book was. I wouldn't have bought a comic. I wouldn't have seen the ads for Ghost Rider and whatever. Godzilla put me in comics. And so to have the opportunity to do a Godzilla story would be the icing on all of this cake.
What about you, Brian? The Marvel gods, the comic book gods, they come down and they say, you can work on any one title, character, project you want. What would be your pick, sir?
Oh, my top pick out of any comic would be Vampirella right now.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, if I got a Vampirella cover, I'd probably die. That's Red Sonja is a close second. I think both of those are awesome. Strong.
I'm trying to get you there, man. I'm trying to get you there. We got one step closer.
Let's do this.
I just had something happen just now that has never happened to me before.
What's happened, Sam?
This backer's address is on my street up the block.
See, I'm gonna bang on the door.
You need to go. That has to be a personal drop off. I actually had a customer today.
I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow, actually, after like in the afternoon, because he's literally like, I'm in the 700s, he's in the 900s.
Yeah, I had a customer today that from the Doghouse show from the CBSN that for the first time I actually paid attention to the address, and they live like 30 minutes from me. And I was like, that's crazy. I'm probably just going to go get lunch and drop the books off at their house.
And it's not me.
It's not Mrs. Smithers. No. You're across the lake, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I can get there pretty fast, but
you gotta like the way the technology is now, right? It allows the creators to actually act with the people that buy their books. You got Mr. Smithers here, you got Mr. Bishop here, you got your artists here, you got a couple other creators here. man, this would have been cool like 20, 30 years ago. You know what I mean? To see like, all that interaction, like I want to ask, Mr. Smithers, what's it like? Like you get to sit here and shoot the breeze with someone you're a big fan of right above you.
What's it like to hang out with stars, Mr.
Yeah.
This is the proper way to answer.
Are you talking about you?
No, I'm talking. No,
I'm talking about Mr. Bishop. You get to hang out with Mr. Bishop.
I wouldn't put myself in the same
I'm
category
in
as
awe
Tom
of
by any
Brian
stretch.
and his work. I love all his work that he's done for BDI so far and everything else I've seen. So I guess we can say Brian's a star, but Tom? No, I love it actually. Like, it's. I got back into collecting comics back in like 2014, and it's much different. Like, especially in the last.
Things you were buying back in 2014? Like, what got you started?
Mostly like my nephew. Like he's collecting Batman, so I started talking to him more and more about comics, and then we started going to the comic book store, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll start my collection again, and then I went from like a few hundred books, and now I'm like over about 20,000 books.
Now you have a few hundred BDI books.
And now I have more than a few hundred BDI books, probably.
So were you like you big into comics growing up as a kid? Because you said,
my grandfather, like, he'd buy RT comics and like old superhero comics that he had, and then I just found a stack one day, and he's just like, read them, and from then on, I was in the comics every time I went.
Hooked, yeah.
And then by the time I went to college, I had probably like 400 or 500 comics. So sold them all because I was going to college, and my parents moved to Wisconsin. I'm from New York, and then over the years, I've picked up a comic here and there when I wanted to read something, but never. Mostly trade paperbacks or something. But now the last few years have been a hell of a ride. Like, getting to interact with Tom and everybody else, and Facebook and all these Facebook live shows have made things great. I mean, I don't have to worry about going to a con. I can just sit here in my house and drink whatever and sit on my couch. Or I mean,
well, yeah, you don't have a cost of a ticket of car.
Shit, I can sit in my car.
You can
get hassled by the cops for buying comics.
Yeah, you can spend all that money on the comic, like from your car. Yeah, that's right.
I was the same way. I collected a lot in high school, and then I got into partying and running the roads too much. I ended up selling my comics for like pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
And then about 2008, 2009, I was playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. I was going to tournaments, and I showed up at the comic shop one day, and there was a New Mutants Volume 3, and it had Magic on the cover. I'm like, God damn it, they're gonna suck me in. And I bought and I bought it, and then of course, next thing you know, my one comic a month turned into 24 comics a month again. And you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
That was it. I was back in.
No, I hate to get my like PayPal thing at the end of every month. It's like, do you know how much you spent? And I'm just like, oh God, don't tell me. And Tom's like, yep, and that all goes to me.
What do you think about, from a fan's perspective, right? When you look at buying comics from the direct market, saying like going to your local comic shop and picking up comics, or seeing what you're seeing now last couple of years, let's say on crowdfunding, right? And the books and the titles that you're seeing there. What's your take on that? Like, like, has crowdfunding in your eyes sort of changed the game at all for you as a comic collector buyer?
Oh yeah. No.
Do you have a comic shop that you go to? Or like, are you a weekly guy?
Oh no, yeah. Not so much weekly. I had a hard time getting there because the job I was working about for the last 6 years before I switched jobs, I was averaging like 90 hours a week. So most of that time was when the comic book shop was open. So they were really nice because I'm friends with the guy. But at one point I was gone for like 2 months in another city helping out. And he's just like, I'm going to cancel your subscription box. I'm like, that's fine. He's like, but I'll still hold stuff for you if you really want it. So I go there, pick stuff up. I call him, I'll have him hold stuff. I try to stop it at least once a month. But no, I buy most stuff offline now. I mean, I even buy stuff from him offline because now they have online shows like every Friday night. So if I get a chance, I try to catch him. But I still go there and spend a lot of money around Christmas time for people. But no, like, I buy from Tom, I buy from Jesse, I buy from Eric Kuntz, I buy from I buy from a few people, a few more people, but mostly it's Tom and Jesse James.
But like online, like Facebook sales shows and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and Kickstarter. Like a lot of my money's been going to Kickstarters. I mean, we all know October was huge. November was okay, but this last month and this month already, I probably spent like $3,000 in Kickstarter.
Damn, man, damn. Well, I tell you, the creators are glad to have someone like you out there that makes these things possible.
Amen.
Is that the same story with you, Tom? Like,
I mean, a little bit. I mean, I started off with Marvel Comics and kind of like Black Widow was my introduction to the comic book world.
Good
and then eventually it became, what else is out there? And I stumbled across Tom on a CBSN show selling Black Widow comics, and eventually that transitioned into, cat-like humans,
Wow.
So
Amazing.
I remember my first BDI book was like it was Critter. It was one of the Jesse James exclusives, the one with where they're on the cover and the girl has like the whip or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Tom's thinking hard.
Oh, you're talking about his
Jamie, let's go.
It has Lasso Lass on,
Lasso
on the
Lass,
cover.
that's
Yeah,
it,
yeah, sure.
And then I think the other one was like A Penny for Your Soul. It was a guy that was selling at Jesse James before Jesse James started selling comics online by himself. I got a couple from him, and then this guy was on Jesse James' show one day, and I didn't recognize. Like, who the hell is this guy? All of a sudden, he was doing his own show, and then I'm like, I'll check this out, and I bought a few comics, and then the next thing I know, I'm buying like hundreds of dollars of comics weekly from him. And I remember when I bought Critter, like, because I wasn't reading them, I was just getting them I wasn't just getting them for the cover. I wanted to read them, but I wasn't getting them in any real order, except for I think it was Oz. I got like 1 through like 7 or something like that. But then like he had the trades like 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I bought them all.
There you go.
And then I read them all, and I think I messaged him like, I hate you, because now all I want to do is read Critter comics. And
there could be worse things in life, for sure.
Yeah, no. Tom's got good stuff, and I tell everybody. Tom messaged, like, when I posted something I bought from him, he's like, do you take pictures of everything you buy? I'm like, most things, and I like to post it because I want people to know what great books everybody has, so they can go.
Well, I just assumed that was like your checklist.
It kind of is now, because like I'll go through my phone pictures and be like, did I got that cover? Do I have that cover?
And then you like take pictures of your Critter covers, put them into a Critter folder.
I haven't got that awesome one.
You just have like 1,000 images all
like
random.
If I don't want to be on Facebook, sometimes I just like go through my pictures and be like, oh, I got to read that stuff.
It's your own personal feed. Oh yeah, I remember that.
I first discovered Critter. It was in the shop when he was with Aspen, like doing that partnership. I remember buying it then because I was buying a lot of Lola at the time too. It was like done by a woman named Sia right? Mm-hmm. And so that's when I scooped up Critter and discovered Tom. Good stuff, man. The second best superhero in the universe, right?
I discovered one of my other favorite books at Jesse James too on the live show was Anthony Delaney's The Changeling, and I can't get enough of that. I can't get enough of Anthony's artwork, and I'm still glad he's going to be around on his business page. So, but yeah, no, the last few years, like I started buying comics online probably a year before Jesse started his shows, and then it's just spiraled out of control. Like literally, I'd have my mail lady be like, "What the hell are you ordering?"
How did you guys even find the CBSN? That's always the interesting thing to me, because when it started,
I was already buying from Jesse like before he was even CBSN.
Okay.
And once it was there, it was like, oh, I'm there. Same thing with Artist Alley. I'm like one of the founding members, and I'm just like, oop. Once you guys put that on there, I was like, join. And I've gotten a lot of good crap off Artist Alley too. Like, I mean, other than watching the shows and enjoying them, like I bought a lot of crap from Jesse Wichman. Which, speaking of you wanted to do a Godzilla comic, your Kaiju Epic. I have Jesse's cover and like a 30-inch by like 40-inch poster that he made for a game store.
That's right.
And then he made me a copy because I really wanted one. He had a few extra copies lying around, so he's like, okay, I'll give you one. I spent like $50 on it, but it's awesome. I just have to get a frame for it. But yeah, no. And then, I mean, I get stuff from April Renia. You'll recognize this. She does on the drawing show on Sunday night. The Zombie Tramp.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
So I mean,
Can I see that again? I didn't see it. Oh, there you go. See, I'm a big Zombie Trap fan, especially when Dan Mendoza was doing the book with Action Lab, and it sucks what happened with Action Lab. But
well, he's got the book back now, so
yeah, he's got it back now for sure. It's good stuff, and I'll probably be buying into it again now.
No, like everybody, like all the artists at BDI, like I follow, and I mean, I found you on Larry on Facebook. I mean, so
And life's never been the same since.
Never.
I feel bad for you, brother. I'm sorry about that. You know what I mean? We try and make the best comic we can. Comic books is a weird road, man. It's lots of ups, lots of downs. Everyone goes back to that, Jack King Kirby saying, comics will break your heart, kid. Well, they really can if you don't watch what you're doing,
Yeah.
Shit, I was reading. Tom said I didn't get to read the physical copy, but I was at work and I saw that Tom sent out the digital copies for Camp Rad Dog, and I was reading through it. And I'm like, oh my god, my name's in the book as like the list, and I don't know how happy that made me. Like I was having a shitty day at work, and I took a break for like an hour, and I went to my car and got some food somewhere else, and just started reading, and I was just like, oh my god, that's awesome, and then I went back to work happy. So. And I'm number one in his
Bishop's
contact
on that
list,
too.
Mr.
I think
Bishop, you're like at the bottom. Nobody cares about you.
I'm on the Camp Rad Dog stuff.
Oh, you haven't read it yet?
No, I mean they got it in the mail, but like I was jumping on a plane like the day before it came in.
Oh, you could have read the digital.
There you go. So there's a scene here where I send 386 messages out because we have 386 backers,
campers,
and there's a list of I don't know whatever's there, about a dozen names. So yeah, that's part of the book.
That's the second time my name's been on a BDI book.
That's true.
Pop that out.
Steph Wilson did a cover for Princess vs. Zombies #1 with Snow White in the tub at the apple orchard, and it says Smithers Orchards on it. He did that for me, and he sent that to me like I randomly, like after he did it, like months ahead of time. And all I got was this little like square that says Smithers Orchards in like pencil. And I'm like, what is this? And he's like, it's for a cover for a book that you probably love. And I'm like, it's BDI. Is it? It's the first thing I said. He's like, I can't say, but yes. But no, that's awesome. It's fun. The community that we all have, for the most part, like 99% of the time, is a lot of fun.
So I don't think you'll see it, but it's down that little
between her legs.
Yeah, it's just kind of in there, but that's the cover that he's talking about right there.
Steph Wilson, the master of the circle template, sir.
Yeah, that camp book was. I rewrote that thing so many times. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing.
It was a lot of fun.
And then, kind of midway, Jim and I were talking about what we were going to do for the sequel. And because of what we decided for the sequel, I rewrote it again because I wanted to drop things in to lead into what we're going to do next. And then it's just like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening. So it ended up being just this ridiculous, goofy. I mean, that's all it's supposed to be anyway.
Right.
There's no intention of like a serious story here.
It's supposed to be like Meatballs.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which hopefully it was, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it and got a kick out of it. And we'll do a little bit more this summer too. So
look, I'm still waiting for Lingerie Wars. Where's that at, brother?
2025. That has been stated clearly. 2025.
Everybody bugs him about that. It's hilarious.
2025. As soon as Brian is ready to do it, then we'll do it. Right?
We gotta get this Blue Jay going here.
I know, right?
Oh my God, I love Blue Jay. Let's go.
And there's not even any Blue Jay out yet, and people are like, yeah, people freak. It's funny because like when we did the critter figure, and we were talking about what to do next, people were like, you got to do a Blue Jay figure. I'm like, yo, there's not even a book out. Like,
yeah, but
like
you have,
two
you have
pictures
the stuff on the Patreon.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
true, but that's not as many people have seen that as
right. It's like
have been asking for the
30
character.
people or 39 people or whatever.
But that's
right?
true. That's true. There has been some Blue Jay story on Patreon. That's where we do the exclusive thing, which we'll be getting back to as soon as Carlos is done with Oz. We will have our Blue Jay stuff back.
I like that logo.
Nice.
Come on back to try out Patreon, guys. We do a Blue Jay, basically kind of a webcomic, sort of. But it's designed as sort of social media posts, but it is a story that will lead into what Brian and I are doing, and well beyond. So hopefully May is National Bird Day. So we're really trying to get something done for Bird Day in May. So
That would be awesome.
So, because that's how we do it at Big Dog Inc. We never just like.
Most people think May the 4th. Tom thinks about Bird Day.
I think about Bird. Of course, I think about Bird Day.
He did a May the 4th cover last year.
That's true. We did our first ever official May the 4th. We're not doing one this year.
Not doing Goth Day too in May.
Yeah, well, Goth Day is our big one. Yeah, Goth Day is our day, and we do a week-long Kickstarter campaign.
Has anybody else started trying to do Goth Day for books?
There was some people that tried. We kind of overshadowed all of that.
Larry's like, fuck you, Tom. I'm doing Goth Day.
Yeah, I'm next, man. I'm next. No, our big thing right now has been the Outbreak book we're gonna do. So the theme is Niobe's always wearing a gas mask, and I just had all the artists do that. But if I'm gonna, I would like to do a cosplay set. That's probably the next sort of set of covers I would like to do.
Trying to find if I've got it here. There we go. This was Brian's Goth Day cover from last year. So basically, for those that don't know, we take all of the characters from not all of them, but some of them, characters from Big Dog Inc., modify them into sort of the goth emo versions of them that we get to put. But in this case, because all the characters really exist in their own universes, this allows us to put them all together and let them all play together in the same sandbox, which has come out really well. I really enjoy this book. Here's the regular edition, by the way. It sits right here because I'm like, I like this book. And plus, I'm writing issue 2, so I need to know what the hell's happening in issue 1.
The CB interiors are amazing in that.
Oh yeah. CB killed this book,
and
all of the musical notes in the pages came out great.
There's his Black Rabbit, 3-page story in the back of that.
Yeah, this is also the first appearance of Black Rabbit. Correct. He just did his campaign for it, but
over
Black Rabbit's
grand.
first apperance is in Goth
That makes
Day,
it a key issue. That's a money book.
It's a key issue. It's a super key issue. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, so we got to get Ursa Minor done, Brian, and then we go right to Goth Day. So we have those covers out of the way, and then we can look at more Blue Jay. But
okay, I'm blanking. Did the cover the set of 3 covers like the Princess or Zombie books already come out? Do we have those? Or is that on the campaign that we still need to get from Oz?
Huh?
The Oz ones. The set of 3.
Oh yeah, those are out. Yeah, the Oz ones.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember if I have those or not, but those are awesome too. Like those 3D covers that you do with the 3 different positions. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about those earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, quite the challenge. The first one was kind of fun because I got to put zombies and stuff everywhere. And then the second one, I kind of went with more of like a Charlie's Angels kind of thing.
Right. Does it get easier? Does it get easier after doing the first set to doing the second set? No, you didn't have your method down. You're just like, fuck.
I knew what I was doing quite a bit better with the second round, but still, it's trying to get it right from a completely different angle where you have absolutely no reference or anything to mimic the same pose. It's just as
so
an artist,
how do you get the pose correct? What do you use models or something?
I use a lot of models for the base of a pose, but I make a lot of changes to it. I usually do things like completely change the head, the arms. I change leg positions. Most of the time, I use a model just for a base. And then after I have the base kind of figured out, I do whatever I want with it.
Okay.
I have this thing here. Let me see. Princess vs. Zombies. I actually was doing it all out of my head at first, and I was like, this is really hard. But I bought this dumb little doll thing here. Don't mind the crappy hair here, but it literally this doll you can position like any way that you want to do anything practically. She doesn't like to lift her arms very well, but you can, it helps for doing other angles and stuff. It's got its own little stand. It stands, but it's really basic. The body shape is a little odd, so you can't really completely rely on it. It's
Right.
just going to help you work through the tricky parts.
Well, whatever you're doing, it's working. So,
Well, those are hard. I normally don't invest in this type of thing, but I had to do something to.
it looks really creepy, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is. My wife hates it. She hates it.
He wakes up and just laying next to him in his bed, looking at him like, "What's up?"
Yo, we have an Henri
Oh,
sighting.
shit.
Oh no!
What
Yeah, I
is
just
going
had
on?
my first Whatnot show.
Oh, awesome,
okay.
man. And we were just about to turn it off, so we'll see you later. Bye.
Henri, what's up, brother?
Oh, not much. How's everybody doing? Thomas, what's going on? We got William in the house. What's going on?
Fulfill him, bro.
We
Fulfill
got
him.
some good people here, man. This
Hello,
is
sir.
Yeah, this was completely unexpected.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
trust
expecting-
me, it was completely unexpected for me
It's
too.
a party in here now. You know what I'm saying?
This
Well,
was
you
the
know-
point.
Tom's always saying I'm not cool enough to party with you guys, but he just finally decided to.
I have sent
Oh,
you the
and-
link so many times, and you're like, "Well, I can't do it, man, because
Is that why
you know
you
I
talk
have
shit about him?
kids and stuff."
That's why he talks
Oh,
shit about
don't
you.
feel
You
bad.
always
Tom
turn him
never
down.
lets me come into his yard and play. I feel honored today. You know what I mean?
How's
I'm kidding.
everybody?
I just want to find one con I'm close enough to go to where Henri's at, so I can sit there and just watch him sell out.
Watch him get
Yeah.
his ass beat for
Just-
like hours. Oh my
just-
god! I let go of a set of Maximum Carnage tonight for $75 on an auction because I was my first Whatnot show. And I didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was.
Oh,
gonna
it was your
sell
first one. Okay.
Oh my god! I was like, "Ah!" And I was like, we'll start the auction at $1. I'm thinking like this will just add up, and then it's like at $26. I'm like, oh my god, $26! Like I'm into that.
Oh no!
I was like, oh man, but it was a great show. It was a good experience. Interesting being on there.
Yeah, I did one last night. That was our second one. It was. I mean, we did really well overall. But I've heard from people that use it that it's very, until you kind of have established yourself, it's very up and down. Like you're going to go on one night and it's going to be gangbusters, and you'll come back another night and it'll be like silent treatment. So just be prepared for that, and keep that in mind for your auction prices, because you don't know what you're going to get until you can kind of establish yourself.
So what is that like? Is that like eBay basically, but live?
It's live eBay. Yeah. It's live eBay.
Live eBay. So you can actually look at the expression on the seller's faces. He's getting it, he's taking it up to Douglas.
So how many people can see that? Can anybody? Is it open?
As many as
for
want to come on.
It's just like an open
Unlimited.
stream. Yeah, people
Okay.
come in and people go in and out all the time.
But you got to be part of the app, right? You got to.
Yes.
You can't
It's
just,
an
like,
app only thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
How do
Which
you
kind of
look up
sucks. 'Cause I
comics?
would
That's the
love to
question.
use that on a computer. You know what I mean? That'd be great.
Like say I got on Whatnot app and I wanted to find somebody selling comics. How do you do that? Do you have to
click
know
on
if they're
comics.
selling live?
You click on comics and everything that's live will pop up.
Okay.
And you can even see what's coming up. Like it'll show you the whole day of like scheduled shows, and whatever's live, there could be 5 or 6 live at the same time. You can bounce into all the rooms, go out, whatever you want. That was the great thing about it that I really liked, that I was surprised when somebody showed it to me. I was like, this is going to be bullshit, because it's social media and you have to build it from the ground up
Oh, I
again
hate that.
for
I
people to
hate that.
find you,
Oh.
right? But because it's built that if you're live, you're just visible to the entire app.
Okay. I got a
It
question.
works great.
How does it work payment wise? Do they use PayPal to do everything? Like, how's that
No,
work?
you don't have to worry about anything with that. Like they take care of all the invoicing and the shipping too. I mean, like they deduct it from what they pay you at the end of everything. But I mean, I think they take like 8%.
Yeah, they take a percentage and they work out the shipping, and it's just direct deposit basically. Yeah.
But all right, Tom, you've had 2 shows over there, and I watched your show last night, and I saw you were doing like a bunch of auctions with like Big Dog Ink stuff. I couldn't get anybody to buy any of my creator-owned books on there. It was really, really weird. Like, and
no, that's going to be normal because they don't know what the hell you have. I mean, it's
yeah.
Again, until you establish yourself as this is what we have, this is what we do, this is why you should care. I mean, that's just like going to Comic-Con. You still have to grab somebody out of the aisle and say, "Look, I do comics," and they'll go, "Who fucking cares?" And then you'll say, "This is why," and you teach them why they need to care.
Teach them with a good slap across the face.
It's the same thing with this. You could have a dozen people in there that have no clue what you do, and unfortunately, it's also not. They don't seem to get chatty, and I keep telling them, dude, if you have questions, I know you don't know what this is. I'm happy to ask questions. Who's the artist? What's the book? I'm the writer. I'm happy to tell you about it. It's hard to get a little bit of chattiness going on.
Do you think they're cover buyers then, basically?
I mean, to some degree, yeah, they're cover buyers, but I mean, it's not just independent stuff. Guys are there selling Marvel and DC and slabs and whatever. Right. It's normal comic book selling.
I don't know. Sometimes like listen to people talk about the what's whatever it's called.
Yeah.
What's it called? That's a good.
Yeah. I haven't joined yet, and I want to, but when I listen to people talk about it, I feel like it's a lot of flippers there, just snatching books to try to sell. I'm not saying that's what it all is, but I feel like
I don't know.
It is.
I'm not experienced enough with it to really know all of the aspects. I'm just kind of tinkering. I'm just trying to get my stuff in front of new eyeballs. Is basically all it comes down to. There's definitely a bunch of BDI guys already there that are already buying books from me.
Yeah.
And in some cases they're getting some really great prices. In other cases it's going for stuff.
Okay, that's all you have to say. I'll join.
In other cases it's going for stuff that we sell it on the Comic Book Shopping Network. So it's variable. Plus, again, I've only done 2 shows, so I really have no body of work to understand any of it. It's all going to be hit and miss for a little while.
Do you pull your dramatics like, ooh, I can't sell this. This is such a good book.
That's some of the best stuff. Like when Tom says, "Oh, I might keep this for myself."
Keep that one. I'm not going to sell that one.
That happened to me tonight. I had my last Ronins. I was like desperate because I wanted to make the cheddar tonight, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll just bust out my last Ronins, and like I got like the director. I'm like, I'll do this for like $1 million. Like, no, okay, I'll just put it back.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went through most of what I did in the first 30 minutes or so, and then I went back over it, the stuff that didn't sell, and I sold pieces out of that. So I sold most of what I put up there, and I was happy with what we got. Especially if it's going to new people. That's really the key. I want the new people to get books, and then they'll come back for more books. So yeah.
No, I try to get people interested in comic books every day. Like I used to actually carry remember when I bought all those Ursa Miners off you, the trades for like $5 a piece that were damaged?
Yep.
I've been handing those out all year. Like anybody new that's even remotely interested in comics, I'm like, oh, you got to read this. Or someone that likes to read like manga, I'm like, oh, you got to read this.
Well, I'll tell you from doing all this shipping, I can tell you that right now the fastest growing BDI state in the union is Pennsylvania. Like whatever's happening in Pennsylvania, they cannot get enough of what I'm doing at Big Dog Ink because holy shit,
it's either rain or construction there. So do you blame them?
I mean, I know, right? It's weird. It's just weird that I keep seeing Pennsylvania over and over and over again.
For me, it's
Tom,
California.
Have you done Steel City Comic Con and Pittsburgh?
No, I did old Pittsburgh Comic Con a couple of times many years ago. That is my only Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania experience. I did Philadelphia. I did that really shitty Reed Pop Philadelphia Comic Con. The first year they did it. Yeah, it was like one of the worst shows I've ever done in my life. And we didn't go back.
Now, do you base that Pennsylvania being the biggest state that's growing for BDI comics? Is that because that's where you ship to mostly?
Yeah, Yeah, because I just keep seeing more and more,
like
and more
Kickstarter
and more.
and like the BDI shows.
Well, the BDI shows are it's the 30 people,
Right.
that's more of a mix. But when it's Kickstarters and I'm shipping out 300 packages and it's like every third package is Pennsylvania.
All right. So you're
something-
telling, so you got to let me know what cities so I can visit there on the way up to New York to go visit my family, so I can start stopping at LCSs to see if they have BDI comics.
Oh, they won't.
You never
won't.
know.
No, they won't. There's no reason for them to. I don't know any of the stores, so they don't deal direct with me.
Well, I'm just saying they might buy people's collections.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. Yeah.
You know, I think finding our stuff and back issues is always the most rewarding thing. But like let's be honest here. You know, the margins for us getting into comic shops is really worth it. I mean, you know, like it is for the visibility aspect. So having your store represented in a shop is always a good thing. But what you have to pay in order for that to happen is kind of like, isn't it worth it to move more books at like a convention or online or through Kickstarter?
Well, for me, there's two things for comic shops. One, if you're dealing direct, it only makes sense if the store is there and they're excited and they're going to push it, right? They're going to be like, hey, guys, we got BDI stuff. You got to come see this stuff.
Yeah.
Then that's good because then they're pushing the product.
Instead of walking in and be like, hey, do you have any BDI comics? They're like, oh.
What the fuck is that? I don't know.
Yeah,
They might be over, they might be
look
over
in the
there.
porn stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So we have some stores that we deal direct with that push the product. So in that context, selling at wholesale is fine because we have active people selling the books, and then that drives people to our website, our web store. Whatever the store doesn't have, they have to come to us to get it. So it works. Then the other side is like going through Diamond and so on, or in any capacity where you do wholesale. You have to treat that as like a marketing expense, basically. So if you're going to sell your book for 50% so that the store can, make 50%, you just have to treat that as if it is a marketing expense. Like, okay, we're spending money to get the eyeballs. Again, hey, somebody found my Oz book in a store in, Idaho. And then they're like, well, where's the rest of the Oz stuff? They go to bigdoginc.com. They become a buyer. Right. So it's a marketing expense. Don't ever assume you're going to make money at retail stores, but if it's done right, it can be used as great marketing to drive people back to where you are. Kickstarters, websites, Comic-Cons, whatever.
Can I answer next?
Yeah. And here is of all of us here, Mr. Larry is in previews right now, selling to comic book stores. So he's with Antarctic Press. Exciting Comics. He did 4 issues of Exciting Comics with Niobe, and up now, I guess this is the current previews, Larry.
Yeah, this is the one that came out last month. They'll have a new one at the end of this month.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's a Justin Hunt cover that you see right there is the main image, and then we have Courtney Rose and Matthew Weldon. The thing is you're absolutely right. There is not a lot of money, in being in shops. It is more of the sort of the cred and the bragging rights. I would tell you. I made $103 with my first royalty check from Antarctic Press, if that tells you anything, right? You know what I mean? And that was for Exciting Comics number 17. Now I'm hoping, Niobe Origins sort of being outside of the anthology series will do a little better, but me being with the Antarctic Press and selling in shops isn't going to pay the bills. It's just not. It's very cool that, if someone says, hey, where can I get your book? I can give them an order code and they can go into their shop and maybe find it on the shelf or order it, right? And they don't have to pay, a premium because it's on a Kickstarter, or they don't have to pay shipping, right? Which is, a good trade-off. You have to wait a few extra months, but then you can still get the book, right? And then the cool thing for me though is like I imagine what it's going to be like 10 years down the road, and some young guy is going to be crawling through a long box and might discover a Niobe in there someday, just like the way I discovered comics when I was crawling through long boxes when I was younger. So it's kind of cool in that way. But no, I'm not going to get rich by being in shops.
Yeah. And as long as you understand that and you treat it as what it is, then you just, okay, it cost me that much money. I'm in the store. I'm in Diamond. I'm in whatever. Hopefully there's an ROI on the web store or Comic Cons or Kickstarters or whatever it happens to be.
I just order
Sam has
everything
a
online
different
these
answer.
days.
Sam, you're in shops, but you've done it a completely different way.
Yeah, I've done it the way it requires a lot of effort just to get what you have, but it's working okay. We ship directly to stores. We have a minimum order size to meet their shipping. Henri, you and I have done really well with 47, I think.
Oh yeah, that was my best seller for last year, and one of my top 5 books. 47 Ronin. That was just.
It's weird that we've got stores that have sold 100 copies of issue 1 and 102 or 103 copies of issue 1, and then 95, 100 copies of issue 2. And yeah, we get that into the shops at 50% of retail, and our retail price is $4.95, $5. And so there's not a lot per box that's net on that, but I make a little bit of money on each box, and we get more and more readers. And I think the best thing that was kind of indicative of where we're at with that right now was with Reign of Ages, when we did the custom retailer tiers. And some of our retailers didn't want to do that because they were worried that they would have like new unproven Kickstarter creators who would come out and say, hey, you pledged like $300 to Reign of Ages. It's a new title, and we've got a new title, and we would like to see if you get support. And they're worried about having to say no a lot to folks. But it's funny because they'll say no to you on the phone, or they'll say no to you in person. And sometimes it takes 1 or 2 or 3 books before they finally like, oh man, yeah, you're still making books. I'm like, yeah, and it looks really good on the shelf, and it makes money every time you sell it. And we have between the shops I ship to directly, and then the 3 online store retailers who do shows. Henri, of course, being probably the most well known and biggest of the 3. Well, yeah, easily the biggest of the 3. That's 35 physical locations, and then those 3, and then Adam Watson with Comics Mainstream is distributing. I think it's either 5 or 7 locations have spinner racks up right now, and then the libraries are online for trades, which we don't have a trade yet, so we're not in the libraries yet over there. But we are in marijuana dispensaries in Oregon, thanks to Adam Watson. So that's fun, and get checks every month. So gotta love it.
Get some checks and some free weed too.
No, I live in Kentucky. You get caught with weed here, they put you in prison.
Oh, really?
And I work for the courts, so I get it even worse.
Oh, so. You get it even worse. They throw you in a jail under the jail.
Yeah. It would be if I go to jail, I'm in a lot of trouble.
The one thing I will say, William, is like your stuff. It just looks beautiful, and it's such an easy sell, especially at the right price point. And I think that's a very important aspect to like what we're doing too, because on one hand, there's the, all right, I got to make money on the books that I'm selling, but there's the other aspect of I got to make this affordable for the customer. And then there's the third aspect of I got to leave something for the dealer who's selling my stuff. You get that. Tom, I also think you get that too. I bought a bunch of stuff from you last weekend at NWI Comic-Con, and you really hooked it up. I mean, he hooked me up with like medals and foils, and these books are absolutely beautiful.
What? Is that where the medals are going? God damn it.
Well, see, because Tom knows that I'm going to push it. He knows that I'm going to have it on my CBSN show or some other platform. I might even put it up on Whatnot. I'm kind of mixing and matching. I mean, he gave me a big stack of BDI books, and they all look gorgeous. And Tom, here's a question for you. Like, there's something about the in-person live interaction, like in-person interaction. And then there's what we experience on CBSN as dealers, like, kind of like knowing who our circle is and kind of like, seeing it grow gradually over time. And then there's this Whatnot thing where it's just like, well, hey, a lot of the guys who were shopping with me before are on here too, but there's also a bunch of new people popping in and out, but it's hard to gauge them.
Yeah.
And that's what I think the hardest thing to kind of bridge the gap is like, how do you make those connections with people who are constantly in and out and are just kind of like poking their head in and out?
There's nothing you can do. All you can do is just talk, and they either engage or they don't. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. But the more you're there, you know, oh, this guy's back. Oh, this guy's back. Oh, this guy's back. Okay, maybe he's worth my time. It's like when I used to get invited to these Oz cons in New York, I would go early in the first couple of years, and I would have these Oz purists looking at Legend of Oz like, the fuck is this piece of shit? You know, and then I'd be back the next year. And then I'd be back the next year. And then eventually they're like, this guy's back like 4 times in a row. I guess maybe I'll look at what he's doing. And then they would read the book and they're like, oh, this is actually cool. Why didn't you tell me this was cool? It's like, I've been telling you this for 4 years, dumb shit. Yeah. But, you know, it's the way it is. That's just the way that it breaks down. So it's the same thing, especially when you're selling your own stuff versus selling Spider-Man. Right?
Yep.
It's you just got to be there again and be there again and be there again.
You
and
know
then
they're
as
watching,
they're there and they're watching people buy, they're like, oh, people are buying this stuff. Okay, so what's going on? And eventually they just kind of figure it out. And it's either for them or it's not. You know, not everybody's going to buy Big Dog Ink stuff just because it's not their brand of things. But you know, over time you just kind of wear them down and people realize, oh yeah, other people are buying this, so this must be cool. And they try it out. That's the hope.
I would say too, if you know that they're watching, you know it's new people watching, show them the coolest stuff you got. You know what I mean? Like if you know there's new eyeballs on, show them that stuff that you know is going to be eye catching.
Tom does that. He'll show them like awesome, like limited edition covers, and he'd be like, or you can get this like regular cover for like $8.
Speaking of cool stuff, Henri, I don't think you've seen this yet, man.
Oh man, that's beautiful. I've seen the Kickstarter and I've backed it. This is absolutely beautiful, man.
That's that Nick Capone one, man.
Are you one of those guys that doesn't fill out your survey, Henri?
Yes. I am. I no, it's just because like I always gotta log in and I'm like, what's my fucking password again? I'll do it later. And then I like forget my password, and then they're like, you can't use this password because you used this password a year ago. And I'm like, fuck you. So I gotta like come up with something. So every time I log in, it's possibly the last time I'll log in until
you gotta just make it something that's just gonna be in your head all the time, like Yisun Shin. I mean, just make it so easy.
It's so easy. 1, 2, 3, 4.
He's gonna make it Comics 1 exclamation point.
Comics 1, yeah.
Comic book 1. Whatever. Yes, that's exactly right.
After this show, you know he's gonna go change it to comic book.
I just got a text. from Allison. She says she's officially watching Meatballs now for the first time.
Nice.
I'm like,
Oh, wow.
okay, good.
Well, it's like you were in a comic that had basically meatballs. Why didn't you watch it?
That's correct. Well, Morgan.
Yeah, I saw
thing.
Morgan's post. Yeah, Morgan watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan finally watched it for the first time. So yeah, you know, my influence is spreading.
See, this like going back to Larry's other question he asked me, like this is what I love about like the last few years, like all these people you get to talk to that are in like just comic book lovers and the stories and the art and the cosplayers and the people that write. It's just been awesome. And
it's fun for me to do it. I mean, I'm a talkative guy. Tom's a talkative guy, so we get people to talk comics with. I mean, Tom, how long you been on now? We're probably going on hour 3, right?
We're
2 hours
we're
and
just about to
42
push 3. Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
just about to
it's
do
fun.
3.
well,
So
I was just
here
on
is-
Russell Allen's show since like 8 o'clock. So
Russ Explode Studios.
Yeah.
Well.
That guy's
Yeah.
been through it. That guy, he carries the weight of the world on his shoulders.
yes, he does.
So there
Really?
is there's our Meatballs homage there, everybody. If you don't know what Meatballs is, do yourself a favor. It is a summer camp movie from 1979 starring Bill Murray. You will not be disappointed. Super fun movie that we did. This is the whole Camp Rad Dog Camp crossover thing is all based on the summer camp idea. And there's Morgan on the left. That's Morgan inside the book.
And that's
as well.
Tom in the center there getting hugged by all the girls.
That's right. I'm in the Bill Murray position there.
Hey, Tom, are you going to do another camp crossover this year with Jim?
Not with Jim. We're just doing a mini thing this year because we didn't have time. I have too much going on with the toy and all this other stuff. So I knew I wasn't going to have a spot to do another one. But we're doing a little mini story The first one in April. That'll be part of our basically April, May, June, July. We'll have some variant covers at the cons and stuff. So a new little mini story, but not a full blown crossover thing again. I don't have the Kickstarter spaces to do it.
So what you're saying is the comic will be just the same length as Jim's regular comic.
That's correct.
But it'll be a mini story.
3 pages, 3 pages, 72 covers.
Well, guys, I'm gonna head out because I've just been on a 2+ hour stream selling comics, and I'm tapped out for today.
No worries, man. Glad. Yeah, we're gonna check out here in a minute here too. But glad you found us for a little bit at least.
Absolutely, Tom. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the invite. It was so nice seeing everybody. You guys are all great. Love you all. Have a great night.
All right,
Peace out. Yeah, peace out.
Cool. Yeah, we've been doing just about 3 hours.
That's a fantastic human being right there.
Andre's awesome. Andre and I were both at Northwest Indiana Con last weekend, so we hung out a little bit, chatted up. I bought a Ghost Rider from him that I didn't have. That was interesting.
I ended up buying that Bad Kitty glow in the dark cover you were showing off one day.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna get one of those. I got one.
Yeah, if you guys are a collector, I'm sure you are picking up the old Bad.
That was my first glow in the dark cover. I was actually kind of stoked to get that.
I'm just telling you.
So yeah, my comic collection I worked on for years and years and years. Right, I it disappeared when I got divorced the first time, which was unfortunate. But I've been able to put back together like the main titles I like to collect, and so now I've got all those runs together, and so now it's just a matter of the people whose comics I'm picking up on Kickstarter and such.
Oh wow!
That I'm taking and completing those sets.
When you said disappeared, I was thinking like you hid it from your ex-wife.
No. She actually when she went to go get stuff out of the house,
she stole
it in the back. And then apparently she put them in the parking lot at her apartment and set them on fire.
Oh. Can I get her address?
If I had it, I'd give it to you.
That just annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah. Not cool, man.
Miss Smithers is going to TP her house in tacos.
Let me clarify.
And it'll be pizzas now. Remember, I run a pizza place.
Yeah, but you got all those free coupons.
Yeah, but I want to go to Taco Bell.
Oh, well.
Pizza's cheaper.
Well, guys, we've been doing this for about 3 hours, most of us anyway. So we're going to let you get out of here. This was fun to do. Definitely want to get back to doing some of these live shows again. So, I'll let you all know if we're going to do this again next week or whenever I decide I need to, shake loose my brain a little bit. But I appreciate you all dropping in, and you're all welcome anytime. That's the point of open mic night, is when you see the link, just tell me you want in, and we'll drop you in and talk about whatever it is we want to talk about at the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, brother. Buy Niobe at your local shop today.
Chill.
47 Furious.
I don't know. Should I buy it at my local shop or buy it directly from you?
You could do either or. I mean, either one will make me a happy camper.
I just wish I lived as close to Canada as I used to, because it'd be probably a little bit cheaper.
You're in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
How much
over the border?
No, I used to live in Messina, New York, which was like 20 minutes from Cornwall.
Yeah,
I could get to Montreal in like an hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's how close I used to live to Canada. I mean, I was practically in Canada like every day. Now trying to live, thinking like what my friends have to go through that still live up in that area. When they go to Canada, they have to get a special license or use their passport. I'm just like,
I mean, shit, Canada's 90 minutes from me.
But I mean, this is the great thing about being in shops. So if you are interested in Niobe, I mean, all you have to do is wait till April. Antarctic Press will throw it in your shop. So that is an option for people.
Just make sure that your shop carries Antarctic Press books.
Yeah, that's it. About it.
That's where it's got to start.
Or you can just message me and I'll hook you up, brother. It's all good.
There you go. There's all your answers.
Tom's like, don't do it. Keep spending money on BDI. No, it's actually got to the point where like I'll be on the Big Dog Ink show, the Doghouse show, and I'll be like, okay, have that cover. Have like 5 of those covers. Okay, I'm gonna buy that cover.
Well,
You know, I have
it's gotten to
2.
the point where I'm like, when you buy in Tom's house, Smithers,
And that's why, like, when you do that dramatic thing, I get excited because I'm like, I might not have that cover. Then you're like, oh. Then you show it and I have it. I'm like, fuck.
There's a guy that I just talked to today or yesterday who's been buying forever. And he was like, yeah, there's still like 10 covers that I don't have. And I'm like, how's that possible? You've been around since like virtually the beginning.
Those baseball ones are hard to get. And then obviously you have Teacher's Pet and books like that are like they're impossible to find unless you want to spend an arm and a leg.
Well, yeah, all 3 of the Take Me Home editions are very hard to find. Regardless even of price, they just don't appear. And then there was the one book that we gave away at a baseball game.
Yep.
Good luck finding those. So yeah, it's interesting. We've had an interesting history, but like there's guys that I'm like, yo, you've been doing this long enough, you should have them all. But yeah, I guess sometimes if you're not at the con, some of that stuff like the Teacher's Pet, it'll drift right by. You won't have your chance. Internet changes everything. Now everybody gets a chance for the most part.
Yep. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes you got to cross your fingers and hope that things don't sell that well at the con. So there's a couple bucks for you. Or sometimes you get people like Tom and be like, all right, Patreon people, books are going your way first.
That's right. That's right. So, Patreon people get some exclusive stuff. In fact, I have your guys' January 6-month anniversary book for Patreon people be coming your way pretty soon as well. So keep your eyes open for that stuff. Yeah, boy. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here.
All right, guys, it's good talking to you.
If we do this again next week, I will. I'll let you all know. Anybody that's watching this back, it's open mic. So anytime you want to drop in when we do open mic, just send me a message and we'll get you the link. Thanks for everybody who's watched. Thanks for everybody who's chatted, and we'll see you all next time. See ya.